Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Representing the business of boxing, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Manager Marty. Thank you. You're far too kind. Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, FightHype.com here with my man Samson Lukowicz. Got a big fight now with Sebastian Fundora and Tim Tszyu, but first I got to ask you about the stuff everyone's talking about in boxing. Canelo Alvarez saying if he was offered 150, 200 million guaranteed dollars, he'd fight Benavidez, but otherwise there's nothing in it for him. What's your reaction?
Besides the 25 pounds.
Besides the 25 pounds, right?
He will take the 25 pounds. He's very smart. I believe that he will get the $150 million and he will fight him. I say that if it be shameful for boxing, it would destroy part of our sport if he doesn't fight Benavidez. So now we know the price. Now we need to find it where to get the money. But he's very smart, very good businessman, Canelo. And I believe that he deserves the 150. I don't know if he reached the 200, but the 150 million, why not? Mayweather did it, and he followed the footprints, the blueprints of Mayweather. So don't underestimate it any longer.
Well, I know David believes the fight could still happen in September, and obviously.
I don't know September.
Why
because
not?
If he fights in June, he will not fight in September. I mean, I will not allow that. But November is a good time to do that fight.
What if he gets out of the ring with Vazda quickly, doesn't take any damage?
Regardless, I believe it's too soon. Because you need to go, in a fight like this, you need to go at least 6 cities, including Mexico, flights, hotels, and you lose a month of training because he deserves to get, at least 5 to 6 months to go and pay the 150 million. You cannot pay 150 million supposedly in 2 months and a half.
I totally understand what you're saying, but the fans online, social media, they'll say, I thought you're hunting down Canelo. If he offers the fight in September, and you're saying you can't take it because of the realistic business reasons, then they're going to say, well, now you're ducking Canelo.
No.
Right.
Because if he won $150 million, it could happen in November. If he won is 60 to 100, it can happen in September. Because you don't need to go to 60 city to make that money. You know what I mean? But if you want 150, you need to work for that. And the TV will not agree on 3 months' notice. There's no way the TV and whoever put the money, because we are promoter, but really the money is coming from the TV, not from us.
Ladies and gentlemen, members of the jury, members of the Roll the Tape film crew, welcome to another episode of Roll the Tape podcast with Manager Marty. I'm your host, Manager Marty. We have some boxing to talk about today. We have the business of boxing to talk about today. I'm glad that you are all here. I'm excited to be here. I haven't seen this thumbnail on the screen, and most of you haven't either. So it's always good to see the logo presented. It's always good to have a platform where we can offer an open panel. It's always good to hear other people's perspectives and all of those great things. And that's why we do our Town Watch check-in. But before we get to that, I want to salute and welcome everybody that's live and living color with me right now. I got to shout out the members of this channel. All you got to do is click one button to become a member of the channel. There's certain perks that you receive, and one of them is you're going to get publicly acknowledged every time. I don't care what time of day it is. If I see you in the chat, I'm going to publicly acknowledge you. Okay, we also have other perks as well and other tiers of membership opportunities and privileges. So feel free to join in and become a member of the channel. I got to give a double salute to my guy, Jeremy Austin. Double salute to my guy, Matthew Thomas. Double salute to my guy, Biz on the Beat. Double salute to my guy, J Sir 72. Oh, man, it's always good to be here. And here's the thing. We're going to do our Town Watch check-in, but we're not going to sit on it too long now. We haven't done the Town Watch check-in in a little minute, so we're going to spend the block. SPEND, the block. We're going to spend the block. Yeah, we're going to spend the block. We're going to do our Town Watch check-in. What you just heard was Samson Lukowitz. He is the promoter of David Benavidez. He was on FightHype.com in an interview that was published just yesterday. And he gave his reaction to Canelo Alvarez, basically saying he wants $150 to $200 million to fight David Benavidez. That's the asking price. And so I want to break down some of the things Samson Lukowitz said to interpret it for you all, the audience, from a business of boxing perspective. And the thing is, it's crazy because just the other day, when we were here, live and live in color on Wednesday, I actually talked about Samson Lukowitz. Y'all remember that? If you remember that, right? That's good memory, because it just happened 2 days ago. But I just brought up Samson Lukowitz's name, if y'all remember. And I also spoke on the fact that I believe that Canelo Alvarez won't fight David Benavidez, and the reason why. I won't get into that. Welcome if you are watching the live on the replay. I welcome you. Thank you for joining us. Listen, I'm so glad we're here. I'm not going to hold you too long. It's Friday. It's the weekend. We're going to talk some boxing. This open panel today, link is in the description. I'm about to pin the link to the top of the chat. If you give me 1 second so you can join in. Y'all know what we're dealing with today. We're dealing with Canelo Alvarez. He said he won 150 to 200. I'm not talking about 150 to $200,000. Not that. He hasn't made that in probably over 15 years. I'm talking about 150 to $200 million for him to get in the ring and fight David Benavidez. I also want to talk about Frank Martin, Tank Davis. It's official. Remember, I told you I don't know if it was official or not. I didn't hear anything from PBC. That was as of last week. But it is official now. In fact, David Benavidez will be fighting on that undercard. I want us to talk about that. I would love to hear your perspective in the comments section below if you're watching the replay of this live, in the chat, live and live in color. And if you want to join in, open panel discussion tonight, click the link, or this afternoon if you're my West Coast audience, and in the morning if you're all the way out there in the other parts of the world. Let's start off this thing the right way. Another member of the channel, double salute to him, supervisor of the Roll the Tape film crew, Sin Ironheart. What's going on, Ironheart? Good to see you. We got to do we haven't done this in a while. I'm just so glad to be here today. We haven't done this in a while. All right. We have to do our Town Watch check-in. Okay? Have to do our Town Watch check-in. Now, if you're new to the channel, I'm going to breeze right by this, so stay with me now. Stay with me. Breeze right through it. The Town Watch check-in is extremely important. This is how we start the show off. I try to do it as often as possible, but we start the show off with our Town Watch check-in. That's what I call it, Town Watch check-in. And this is where you check your town in. Yeah. And the reason why we do that is because in the preliminary stages of this podcast, every live, I want to make sure that we have something established here. And that is that this is a no judge free zone. I welcome all boxing fans in the chat, on the panel, right? everyone have their own perspective, their own opinion, and their own points of view. Just like we all have our own different geographical locations, right? So that's why we do our Town Watch check-in. And we do that in the beginning because guess what happens at the end of the live broadcast? What happens at the end is that we all can rhetorically agree that we may have different opinions. We may have different points of views. We may have different perspectives, but we all can rhetorically agree at the end of the show that we share one thing in common, and that is our love for the sport of boxing. All right? And how we do it is when you insert your city, state, island, and or country in the chat, I will then in exchange publicly acknowledge it. That's how we do our Town Watch check-in. I'm doing way too much talking. I'm gonna start it off first. Haven't done this in a while. And another thing that we do with our Town Watch check-in, we allow it to be our icebreaker. This is how we start things off to get the energy flowing. And I am so excited to be here live in living color. I'm gonna start it off first, representing the DFW all day, every day, Arlington, Texas, Mansfield section, Tarrant County to be exact. Yeah, you know the residence is there. You know the residence was there, huh? But you know I got to give credit where credit is due. I got to give credit to my hometown, where I'm born and raised from. Philly, Philly. Philly's where I am from. Some of y'all don't even know that song by Eve, another fellow Philadelphia. But anyway, representing my hometown of the great city of Philadelphia. Yes, I'm talking about in Pennsylvania, not in Mississippi. Philly, stand up, we in the building. Who else we got in here? Come on, y'all, check on in. All you got to do is insert your city, state, island, and or country in the chat. I'm going to publicly acknowledge it as the air fryer is in. Oh my God, the air fryer is warming up. Air fryer warming up. Who we got in here? Columbus, capital city, Ohio, in the building. Who else we got here? Woo! Orlando, Florida. Just pulled up in the parking lot. I looked out the window and seen you in the parking lot. Yeah, Orlando, Florida's in the building. Just walked right in. Huh? And then when he walked in, the wind blew in right behind him. Because the Windy City is here. Chi-Town in the building. Salute. Good evening, Manager Marty, representing Queens, New York. One sexy T, I see you. Queens, New York in the building. Woo! Rochester, New York in the building, I see you. Home of the boss sauce. Yeah, Strong Island, Long Island, New York in the building. Huh? Come on, y'all, let's check on in. Oh, it's somebody else from Queens, New York here. Yeah, somebody else just checked in from Queens. Queens be in the house. Yeah, they love me out in New York. If you check my demographics, right, y'all can't see it, but I'm looking at the analytics behind the scenes, right? New York is one of top 3 cities and states in my here in America, in my analytics that represent and view this channel consistently. Salute to New York. Queens, New York in the building, I see you. We might as well slide over to the West Coast. We might as well. Because San Diego, 619 in the building. Salute, I see you. Let me travel over to the DMV. 757 P-Town, what up? In the building, salute, I see you. Naptown, Indiana, just checked in the building, I see you. Salute. Huh? I'm a creep back up to the East Coast. Atlantic City, New Jersey. 609 is in the building. I see you. Come on, y'all. Let's check on in. We got somebody from Canada in the building. Yeah. This is not just an American thing. I got people from all over the world that support and watch this channel, that get education and entertainment that I provide on this channel. This is what I love about this. Frisco, 415 in the building. I see you. Zebulon, North Carolina is in the building. I see you. Come on, y'all. Can I get one more check-in? We ain't gonna hold you too long. Yeah. We here now. Yeah, we here now. Who else we got in here? Yeah. I already checked you in. Columbus, capital city, Ohio, 614. You want to check in again? All right, 614 in the building. Checking in again. Checking in again. Do me a favor, y'all, while you here, real quick. Y'all can just click the like button, just jab it, uppercut it, hook it. Whatever you got to do. Body shot. Yeah. Go downstairs to the basement, as we used to call it back in the day. That's an old school term for a body shot. Go downstairs in the basement. Yeah, go downstairs in the basement, tap the like button, because what happens is the education and entertainment value that we provide here on this channel reverberates all across the YouTube boxing community. I appreciate it in advance. Yeah. Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico. The homeland of Tito Trinidad and Wilfredo Gomez is in the building. I see you. Montreal, home of Adonis Stevenson. I told y'all Canada was here. I told y'all Canada's. Quick question. Since you're from Montreal, how far is Montreal from Calgary? That's where the Hart family, Bret Hart, is from, right? Isn't he from Calgary, Alberta, Canada? How far is that from Montreal? I'm just curious. Some of y'all don't even know about wrestling. Don't get me started with this must be the town watch checking. No, let me start with wrestling now. I'm talking about the old wrestling. I don't know about the new. I don't know what's going on with the new wrestling. Dallas, Texas, 214 in the building. I see you. Oh, it's 3.5 hours on the plane. Okay. 3.5 hours. All right. Yeah. Can I get one more check-in and we're going right to the sport? We're going right to the sport of boxing. Can I get one more check-in? 60 minutes from New York? Oh, okay. Right on. 60 minutes from New York. That's upstate New York, y'all. Upstate. Yeah. Okay. One more check-in. Can I get one more? If we can't get one more, that's okay. We get right to the boxing talk, because I know what you came here for. I'm gonna give you what you asked for. That's one thing I can say about this channel. I give you what you asked for. You want education, I give it to you. You want entertainment, I give it to you. Huh? Yeah. Got somebody coming. Listen, I'm gonna remind y'all every time I go live until Thursday. Don't forget about Thursday now. Got somebody special guest coming on Thursday. Don't forget now. Just want to make sure we clear. No more check-ins? All right, cool. If you do have a check-in, I will acknowledge it even after the Town Watch check-in is over, officially. All right? If you're watching the replay of this live, you can also participate in the comment section below. And then when I see it, I'll make sure I comment back in the comment section below. So, man, we need answers. That's all I know. Yeah. What's going on? Dag, I haven't seen you all on StreamYard in a long time. Oh, let me do this real quick. Hold on. I gotta make sure I think I did pin it to the top. Make sure, did I pin it? Yeah, no, I pinned it to the top. So the link is pinned to the top. I almost forgot. I thought I didn't do it. Yeah, man. Yeah, Benavidez is fighting on. Wait, hold up. David Benavidez, I think he's fighting on the undercard of the Frank Martin Tank Davis fight, right? He's fighting on the undercard of that. I'm trying to figure out the name. I always mispronounce his opponent, his name. I'm gonna try to make sure I can pronounce it correctly. I don't want to mess the guy's name up. The other fighter that's fighting, Benavidez. I don't want to mess his name up. We live, man. I know how we do when we live. You know how we do when we live. Yeah, I'm not gonna hold you all long today. But we do need answers though. Hold on. I'm trying to figure out this guy's name that he's supposed to be fighting. They don't have it up here yet. All right, they don't have it up here yet. But what? Cav 316, what's up? What's up, Harlem Hemp? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? Man, I'm trying to find out how to pronounce the guy's name. Well, anyway, we're gonna get into Canelo. He won 150 to 200 million. I had a question on that, but I'm gonna wait. No, I'm gonna ask it right now. So if Canelo is gonna make 150 million, how much is the promotion going to actually lose? Let me flip that question this way. How much is the promotion going to profit if Canelo makes 150 million to 200 million? Oh, okay. Doesn't sound like a realistic offer to me. But what do I know? I'm just a janitor. I'm just a janitor. Isn't that what people say? They say I'm a janitor, right? Well, you know why they call me a janitor. Yeah, well, you know the guy calls me Janitor Marty, and then other people jump on the bandwagon trying to insult me. Instead of calling me Manager Marty, call me Janitor Marty or Janitor Farty, right? Do you know why Coach Malachi, you know the real reason why he calls me a janitor? Yeah, he's trying to put a little spin on it to insult me, but the real reason why him and all of the people that be hating on me on YouTube, the reason why they call me a janitor is because when they come on YouTube, right, and mess up, I come right behind them and clean the mess up. That's why they call me a janitor. Yeah, Temple, Texas 254. I see you. Well, anyway, I was trying to get the name of the gentleman that's going to be fighting David Benavidez on the undercard of Frank Martin against Tank Davis, Gervonta Tank Davis fighting. I had a question about what do y'all think about that fight? Let's just go right into it now because I'm talking about not Benavidez and Canelo. I know how most of you feel about that. I'm talking about Frank Martin versus Gervonta Davis, 135-pound division. Because you know what's interesting about that? Remember when Shakur Stevenson said that he offered Frank Martin, what, $1 million? However much it was. And I already gave y'all my spill on that. All right, I'm going to give it again since we have a new audience here. You can't offer, this is to anybody. This is for all the fans. This is for educational purposes. This next line I'm about to say. How can you offer, no, scratch that, because that's rhetorical. No fighter, hear me, y'all. I don't care who it is, or their dad or grandfather, or listen, if a fighter is locked into a guaranteed contract with a promoter, right? Especially when they are the B-side. Let's be clear on this. They can't offer another fighter anything. Can we be clear on that? Because I know people be talking about Bill Haney offered this fighter this, and Shakur said he offered Frank Martin this, and this person said they offered this, and then this promoter said he offered this. Let's be clear on something. I'm going to clear it up now. I know that there is disinformation being disseminated on YouTube. The reason why is because the people who are disseminating the information, there's two reasons why. Number one, they want you to be deceived. And number two, if their heart is in the right place and they don't want to deceive you, they just absolutely don't understand the business of boxing. And that's why you came here, because that's what I do. Okay? So with that being said, I'm going to repeat it for the people in the back. When a professional boxer is signed to a promotional agreement, I'm talking about a guaranteed purse because the promoter has locked this fighter in to a multi-fight deal, doesn't matter how many years, how many months, that's not important. If a professional boxer is contractually obligated, okay? Contractually obligated to render services with a promoter, meaning they have an exclusive, that's the word, now I'm talking contractual language now, exclusive. They have an exclusive promotional relationship from fighter to promoter exclusively. That means they are not contractually allowed to compete or sign with another promoter. They're not free agents, is what I'm saying. They're locked into an exclusive contract with a promoter. They cannot offer another fighter anything. It's impossible. They're not putting up the money. What are we talking about? They're rendering their services on a fight-by-fight basis. We don't have to disclose what the terms of the agreement are as far as the length of time. That's not important. It can be a 3-fight deal. It can be for 2 years, 3 years, extension after, all of the language. That's not important. What I'm saying is, if a fighter is signed to, let's say you signed to Top Rank, that is your exclusive promoter, you can't offer nobody nothing. I love how I say that. You can't offer nobody nothing. How can you? You're receiving a guaranteed purse every time your services are rendered by a promoter. So how you offering somebody something? So I wanted to be clear on that. I wanted to be clear on that. Okay? That's going to dispel all the dissemination. So with that being said, I find it interesting that Shakur Stevenson offered Frank Martin some kind of money when we know that Shakur Stevenson has an exclusive obligation to Top Rank and Top Rank has an exclusive obligation to Shakur. The point that I'm making is, it's interesting to me how Shakur Stevenson offered Frank Martin whatever he offered him, money-wise, but yet Frank Martin is about to make the biggest bag of his career and definitely going to be more than whatever Shakur offered them to fight the face of boxing, Gervonta Tank Davis. I think that I just thought that was interesting. That's all. I just thought that was it. That's what I thought. I thought that was interesting. But you know why that's happening? I keep saying this over and over, and it's allowing me to use this as a teachable moment. It's because good representation in this business is priceless. I tell y'all that all the time. And because I tell you that all the time, you know, you should be able to look and listen. When you hear other people talking, you'll be able to see that either they're deceiving you or they just don't know the business. And then you'll be able to hear the difference between the truth and the lie. It's very simple. So Frank Martin is fighting Tank Davis. You know, roll the tape. Deem is here. I told Deem that we was coming back Friday. I also told Deem that I'm going to put the link into the chat because he said he wanted to come up here. And Deem knows he's always more than welcome to come on up because I think he want to share some things, and I'm glad that Deem is here. So salute to my guy Deem by any means. But yeah, it's just interesting to me that just some months ago, Shakur Stevenson offered Frank Martin something, and then Frank Martin turns around and is about to fight Tank Davis for a crazy bag. That's amazing to me. But yeah, so I want to talk about what y'all think about that fight, Frank. We don't have to go all in. You know, if you want to, you know, of course, feel free, more than likely. But yeah, we're gonna talk about that. I didn't see him in a while.
Marty
Dang,
Mark,
what's up? Yeah.
what's going on, man? What's going on?
Hey man, I'm doing good. How about yourself, man?
I can't complain, man. I'm
You
surprised
want to
you
talk
back
about?
on StreamYard.
Yeah. I had to get off StreamYard for a second. I wanted to go directly to YouTube live directly. It seems like that's the only um, legitimate way. YouTube won't play with my views like they playing with my views now. The whole channel has been shadow banned. It's no secret, but it's boxing. I don't make no complaints. It is what it is. How you been, though?
Man, I've been all right, man. Hope everything's good with you and the family.
Oh man, everything is going well. I mean, listen, Darth. I know that you're NHA too, but you did tell me you was going to change your name. I guess you changed it back to Darth Crawford. But the
Nah, I took out the other part of it.
oh, okay, got you. But you know what's interesting to me? I haven't
Yes.
said anything about Bud Crawford in like what, a week or two? I know you're proud of me, sir.
No, actually, I don't mind you talking about, but it's all boxing talk, man. It's
Oh
dialogue.
yeah. Well, some people get offended, when they hear their favorite fighter's name mentioned, they get offended. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely, man. I mean, you gotta tell them to get out their feelings, man. It's just boxing, man. We
That's
ain't
all it
we ain't
is.
getting paid off it.
Yeah.
Boxing talk, at it.
Huh?
I said it's just boxing talk, man. None of us getting paid off it.
Well, hold on. I want to correct you. I am.
Well, you are. No. I'm talking about us as far as like the audience. We ain't getting paid. We just
Oh yeah, no doubt. Oh, we got Mr. Greg here. Sheena, what's going on, Sheena? Hold on, that one. Oh, hold on, Dark. Hold on. When I see the ladies in the chat, I got to stop my show. I got to stop the show. You know how I do. Sheena, what's going on, baby? All right, we got my man Dean. My man Dean just jumped on. What's going on, Dean?
Manager Marty, Philly in the building. You already know what's going on, man.
You know how we do, man. Chilling, man. What's good with you?
Yo, Manager Marty, all I wanted to say, man, I appreciate everything you're doing. Had to get away from the kids real quick, so I'm in the bathroom, because they down there going crazy. You
I
already know.
understand. Totally understand.
But Manager Marty, they shadow banning your channel, man, and I did an experiment. So this me talking to you as somebody from, you already know I got your best interest, man, because I rock with you. I ain't got no reason to cap or do none of that other stuff. I was, I'm subscribed to you on my channel and the whole nine. You already know, right?
Yes.
When you was mentioning me in the community page, I wasn't saying that. I goes to my community page and my mentions and my notifications, and then I see all the videos you was mentioning me in, but they wasn't giving me the notification for it. And I'm running a channel myself, so when I'm getting notifications for people that's commenting on my channel, but not when somebody is mentioning me. So that's one. Then I was like, yo, it's around 4 o'clock. I had got off the gig early and everything like that. So I was like, yo, I ain't been saying like, I know your time. So I tune in just from a clockwork type of thing. Like I know Manager Marty might be on. So I
Yeah.
was like, yo, let me not do that though. And then I didn't get the notification. And then I went to your channel and it said that you wasn't live when I first clicked on the channel, but then I clicked on it again and then it had the red like ring around your channel. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like then I clicked on, but basically what I'm saying is, Manager Marty, bro, I know that they doing something with the views. Even with me running my channel, I'll go to my dashboard and Manager Marty know what I'm talking about, and it'll say a certain number. And then when you go to the content part, it says a whole complete other number, like half of what it may be. So I
Yeah.
just want y'all to know, man, support Manager Marty, man. Hit that super chat, hit the cash app, because they don't like what he talking about. And I did the experiment myself, y'all. This Dean talking to y'all. I did this myself just to see if they would send me the notification. And I clicked all the bells and all of that stuff. And I'm still not getting my notifications. So I had to let that be spread on air and in front of everybody so they know. So when it ain't seeming like you just saying it to big up yourself or something like that, Manager Marty. You know how people is, Manager Marty.
Oh yeah, of course. And I appreciate it, Dean, because one thing I'm never going to do, in nobody's face or even on YouTube, I'm never going to lie to anybody. But the thing is, this is how I knew my channel is shadow banned. I can't even put my own name in the title, Dean.
What?
Dean, you know how when you do a live or something, or or you publish a video, it'll give you the green dollar sign,
Oh
the
my God,
red dollar
yes.
sign, right? The gold dollar sign. As a content creator, Dean, you know that,
I
right?
know exactly what you're talking about. Yes, Manager Marty. Cook,
Every
because I got a point on that. Go ahead.
every time I put my own name in the title, let's say if I say Manager Marty reacts to Victor Conte. If
Right.
I put Manager Marty, the name in the title on my own content, they're going to have a golden restriction
A
symbol
limited.
of the dollar sign, a limited symbol, which means they're going to limit how much they push the content out, how many ads they're not going to put on there. I'm like, for what? I'm saying my own name. And I said, maybe it's because I'm saying Victor Conte's name. So I says, I'm not going to use nobody else's name. I'm just going to say Manager Marty. If I put my own name in the title, it's crazy, man.
Hey, Manager
It's
Marty, let me
crazy.
tell you a story. And this is me, Manager Marty, keeping it real. Every video that I was putting out for the last 2 weeks was getting a limited sign. But
Yep.
how I know I wasn't going against the guidelines was when I went and, requested a review,
Yes.
all of them got accepted, Manager Marty.
Yes.
They all
Because
got, every video I've been putting out, Manager Marty, has been getting, I got to get it accepted. It's not just going through. And it's funny
yes.
because once I started mentioning it, Manager Marty, this is me this is me telling you the truth as my Philly brother. My
Yeah.
last 4 videos, because I done made a couple videos since the last time I talked to you. They all went through.
Yeah.
And it was
Yep.
no different in the descriptions and what I was talking about or none of that. And
Yep.
then it started to happen again. So I just wanted you to know, man, because I told you long ago, Manager Jamar, they watching your content or they gonna come on this channel. Now, could I have forsaken? I said that both of those gentlemen will get on this channel.
Who you talking about?
Victor Conte and the liar. What's his name? What's the other guy?
Rick Glacers?
Rick Glacier. Okay, you remember,
Yep.
Manager Jamar? I was one of the first people to say that.
Mr. Greg was too.
And Mr. Greg, that's why Mr. Greg, my guy, because Mr. Greg know I'm telling the truth.
Yep. Mr. Greg was here. He even said that they was coming.
Manager
Yes, he
Marty, I
did.
told you, man, I got a couple friends that's in, pretty high places. And I had a homeboy that's kind of close to like Devin Haney camp or whatever like that. Like he cool with them or whatever. Shout out to my guy. This how I can never be biased too, Manager Marty. I know one of the biggest Devin Haney fans in the world, and that's my dog. Okay? So and he called me up, Manager Marty, and I think I told you this. And he said, Dean, what's up with all this snack stuff I'm hearing about? And I started smiling. I had to break it down to him. So the fact that it got to him let me know what you was doing.
Yes.
And that's behind the scenes. That's just me giving y'all a little insight. That the fact that he called me, Manager Marty Dean, out of everybody, then you already know. And I had to break it down to him and told him, what to go watch and X, Y, and Z. You remember Barry Bond. Listen, I got into it all, Manager Marty.
Yes, sir.
But I came up here to tell you so you can continue to cook. Shout out to Mr. Greg, my big dog right there. Appreciate the knowledge. Y'all already know I value the OGs. That's just how I was raised. But I had to let it be known, Manager Marty, what they doing. So it don't seem like when you're saying it, it's just something to be said. I did an experiment myself just to see. And they doing the same thing to me, Manager Marty. So.
Oh, yes, indeed. Indeed, man. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you coming up, clarifying it. Double salute. Hold on, I gotta put my other phone. Let me get my other hand out. Double salute to another member of the channel. She also is a supervisor of the Road to Take film crew. 2 Cents Boxing. Salute, sweetheart. No, you didn't miss nothing. You just got here. Real quick, 2 Cents. Why did you say Marty for 9? Why did you say that in the chat? Marty for 9. What is that?
He gave you a shout out
9?
earlier on your channel. That's all. He gave you a shout out, basically.
Huh?
He kind of gave you a shout out on the channel because people was bringing that certain guy that be capping a lot. We know you know who I'm talking about. Doing
Oh,
your motions in the videos and stuff like
oh
that.
yeah.
So
No,
yeah.
she said it was an auto text. It was accident.
Oh, it's an accident. Yeah, but he gave you a shout out earlier.
Who
Because
for 9?
yeah, because people was trying to say why you don't. They was asking Fanon going to Fanon channel about the BS, talking about why you don't go on Blue Blood and all that. Fanon, like I have been over there. I got the guy number. I've talked to him. Like this ain't nothing new. Like so that happened today. But like I said, Manager Marty,
Well, what
man.
made him shout me out? I didn't have nothing to do with that.
No. He was just talking about the hand motions and stuff like that. You remember the hand motions and
Oh, when he
the
did
yeah,
that,
the stuff you was doing before. Yeah. Because people was trying to play him like he don't go to other channels or something like that. Like he don't know these people or whatever. Not
Oh
doing
yeah.
their research and history and all of that type of
Oh
stuff.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
you
yeah.
feel what I'm saying? Like yeah.
Yeah.
So. But Manager Marty, that's all I wanted to say, man. I had to let you know that just for everybody, just for that to be on record, man. Because I did the experiment myself, and I don't like that, man. Like I already know, man. Like the fact that I got people calling me personally about certain things, let me know just how far spread it's gotten to. So
Oh
I get
yeah.
at y'all, Mr. Greg, man. I appreciate everything you be doing too,
Hey,
Mr. Greg. Keep cooking, you hear me?
always good to see you. Know you're doing your thing. I'm gonna have to come on your channel, check you out.
Man, Mr. Greg, you and Manager Marty, that's anytime. I'll go live just for y'all. But Fanon gave me some great game about building your fan base to a certain number before you start going live and doing certain things. So I'm just schooling up game. I'm not one of them guys that think I know everything. That's what makes me
Yeah.
intelligent, that I'm willing to learn. I know what I don't know what I don't know. And I'm not ashamed to say I don't know. But I'm
Yeah.
all ears though. So
What's the name of your channel?
Dean by any means. You would
Okay,
appreciate that.
I got it. Are you on every day?
For the most part, Mr. Greg, I post at least 3-4 videos a day. But today, some days out the week, I'll be chilling. Because listen, man, I got a good life, man. I got beautiful kids. I got great friends and things like
I
that. So,
understand.
Mr. Greg, I be trying to live. You hear me? Like,
I get you. Live as well as you can.
yes, sir, man. I get at y'all. Continue to cook, man. I just wanted to put Manager Marty onto that game, and just so that he knows that it's not just him saying it, because people try to use that against my brother, and I ain't going for it. So I holla at y'all.
Double
All right,
salute, man.
brother.
All
Appreciate
right.
you, Dean.
Salute
My
to you.
God. That
Hey,
was my
Darth.
man, Dean. What's going on, Mr. Greg?
Man, I'm wondering what's been going on with you. I know they've been giving you a whole bunch of grief. They've been moving you around, and you trying to do certain things. I'm like, well, good grief, what's going on with this? Because I've noticed, I knew what was going on with you. We talked about that last year, how I was gonna fall out,
Yeah.
but I didn't expect for it to just come in a manner or as fast as it did. But then I didn't. I knew once you started doing something that nobody else was doing, and they started copying you, that escalated it quite a bit. They want to listen. Let's try to make it. I feel I could be wrong. They want to make a little example of you because they see others are copying. Okay, let's see how we can tap this down, because what you have created in your content is questions, real questions that those who would prefer not to answer say, okay, we got to do something about this, because this is we got to people gonna start asking questions, and you ask enough questions, you're gonna start uncovering things,
Yeah.
particularly if you have suspicions that you have not really voiced. I mean, I have a few suspicions of my own about certain things. I haven't voiced them, but I see they coming to fruition, and I don't even have a channel. So I know if you started saying some of the things that I'm thinking, it might be a little more crazier.
Of
But
course.
that also is why I believe your fan base has been so strong, because you don't have just people who show up once in a while. You have people who are saying something, who have a degree of intelligence that get their point across too, that we also like hearing, because we know they come in here. So you birthing a lot of stuff.
Yeah. That's
One of the
true.
things you got to pay attention to as well. I'm glad to be able to talk to you. See, you still here. I said, what, why brother ain't on StreamYard no more? We can't come up and the panel can come on and debate with each other and cook a little bit and share some information. So I think that's the greatest thing that this channel has done in the short period of time since its conception and its birth, that we've met each other online, of course, and been able to trade information and talk and debate.
Yeah.
And sometimes become friendly with each other and be concerned about everybody's well-being. I know I've
That's
been
correct.
a little concerned about you, Banda, even Ross. You know, I might ask a question in the chat that might get lost, but it's because you're genuinely concerned about people, and it shows.
Yeah.
And you got people there, like I said, who are very who are smart, knowledgeable, have a love for boxing, you know, and want to, you know, participate in the way that we're participating here. So I'm again, like I said, I'm always going to support you. I told you that from day one.
Yes,
I
you
try to
did.
show that and do that, and
Yep.
hopefully we get a chance to just get the who's who and boxing panelists back up on here, you know, because I'm looking forward to seeing Saeed and 2 Cents. And
Yeah.
Lump still owes me a
Yes,
conversation.
he does.
I want to remember that. I saw him. He was on. I said I couldn't get to it, but he owed me a conversation. So just
He
remind
does.
him when you talk to him.
He does.
But
He does.
overall, did I miss the guest that you were planning to come on?
Oh no.
Okay, good.
Yeah, 2 Cents almost got me to put it out there. Yeah, she gave a super chat, and I said, well, I don't want to take nobody's money and not exchange, you know, do fair business. You know what I mean? But I had to tell 2 Cents, I can't tell you the gender of the individual. Then you start thinking about who. But no, this Thursday, the guest will be here, and I'm looking forward to everyone to come on back Thursday. I'm gonna come back again on probably because I'll be leaving from. I'll probably get back on here either Tuesday, Wednesday before Thursday, and just announce it again. But yes, the guest will be here. Special guest will be here. Interview on deck, and you know, we need answers, and I believe that when this guest come on, we'll get some answers.
2 Cents is in the chat right now, right? 2 Cents is in the chat right now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, 2 Cents. I mean, she may come up, but I want them more because I've been trying to get to her as well.
Yeah.
And I mean, is YouTube coming after certain people? Or?
I don't know, but I know for a fact that YouTube is they definitely got them boys on me. I don't know who they are, what they do, what you know how YouTube work as far as algorithm. I know for a fact, and Greg, you were here from October. I started to see a slow decline. But the more I start talking about this snack program and VADA and this and that, and I just noticed, you know what I mean, that and I'm not saying that's why, because I do already know that just like Deem just said, I have not violated any community guidelines. And if you go back and look from the beginning of time, when I first started doing lives, even up until now, when I over last summer, when I changed the format to podcast, because before I was just doing lives. But over the summer last year, I transitioned into the word podcast, and then my format changed. But if everybody can go back and remember, I'm one of the only few channels where people know before, and I don't give a rule, people just know how I am, that people don't come up here and say derogatory things about each other. People barely even use profanity on this channel. These are all things that people have learned about how my personality is, you know, as far as the platform is concerned. So there's no community guidelines, you know, being violated for YouTube to strike my content is where I'm going with that. So I don't know, but you know, it's not going to stop me from doing what I do because, like you said, Mr. Greg, I have a great support system here on YouTube. Even if people are not a part of the Roller Tape Film crew and they're not subscribed or they don't chat, I know that they're watching. Professional boxers, professional managers, professional promoters in the business of boxing. At this point in the game, I would highly be surprised if somebody in boxing, even your favorite content creators, the ones that have big subscribers and big channels, they all know who Manager Marty is. They all know who I am at this point. I can assure you of that.
They know you. They know you. What's going on, Darth?
I'm good, man. How you been,
Good.
Mr. G, man?
I've
Been a
fine.
while, man.
It's
That's
Hey
just
man,
good.
hey Greg, hold on. This seems like it's too lovey-dovey. I'm up
I
here
know.
with two Terrence Crawford fans, and we doing too much hug and kisses. We need some controversy, man.
we
It's
can
too
throw
much
we can
going
throw some
on, man.
we can throw some punches once you start throwing them.
What's up with Terrence Crawford saying he won't fight Boots, but then some Terrence Crawford fans are letting Canelo have all of the smoke because he said he won't fight David Benavidez for all the same reasons that Terrence Crawford said he wouldn't fight Boots. You see, Terrence Crawford didn't want to fight Boots because he said he don't generate enough money. Obviously, he's undefeated, he's younger, and he's a world champion. Well, Benavidez is the same thing when it comes to Canelo. He's young, he's undefeated, he's not big of a draw compared to Canelo, and he's a world champion. How come Canelo Alvarez got to get all this smoke, but then Terrence Crawford get to slide through the cracks when he said the same thing about Boots? I don't know.
That's why
Huh?
we can do that. Terrence can do that. Canelo,
You see, we're like Crawford, man. We wait for you. We counter.
Canelo need to get some smoke for a while. He been getting away with it for a while. So now it's his turn. Terrence ain't getting no fights right now, period. So the talk don't mean anything. He's not getting the fights, but I don't think it's all his fault. I think some of those moves that I've been hearing about, the rumors that they try to position his nemesis, which is Spence, in position to fight Zoo next. You know, it's a rumor, but I'm looking at what I think is a conspiracy. You know, if they put Spence in position to bypass Terrence, since they're not obviously doing the rematch to fight Zoo, Spence has a chance of winning. Now Spence is now the new middleweight champion junior middleweight champion who's beat the most known at this time middleweight champion. So all the other guys with the belts gonna have to see Spence again. And Terrence is gonna have to give up those WW belts to see Spence again if he's moving up. So I see how as you say, your guy, because I think all promoters should be, kept at a distance, but I can see how Al making a little move to put Spence back in position. It would make sense. I would do it. Put my man back in position because Terrence isn't a PBC fighter. He just had a business deal with him. So I can see how that could possibly happen. But I would tell Terrence, just like you went down to Puerto Rico to be mandated the mandatory, if they try to take that fight from you, give it to Spence, go to war before they can do it. It's going to be dirty. It's going to be nasty. But you're going to have to do it because it's business. So it ain't personal. But don't let them push you out of position because from the rumors I'm hearing, I don't know whether it's true or not, but I think from the very beginning, I think Heyman knew something was wrong with Spence and said, okay, let's get him together. We'll go ahead and drag out this supposedly rematch. It ain't happened. Spence should be in pretty good shape right now, to me. He had enough time to recover because we don't know when these surgeries took place. We don't know how bad they were. We don't know how much recovery time he had. But it's been we getting to the year.
Yeah.
And ain't nobody done anything. And now I've been hearing that Spence might be the next person for Zoo. I don't know. Fight that. That's what I would tell Terrence because I'm a Crawford fan.
He already pulled out of the rematch at 154, according to somebody with is it Suleiman? Supposedly the rematch is supposed to be sanctioned by the WBC for the 154 belt, but
who pulled out?
That was the word. I think Espinoza
mentioned in one interview.
Spence.
Oh, okay.
For the rematch at 154.
I can see. It makes sense to me that he fights Zoo because everybody knows who Zoo is. All the other guys, nobody really is paying attention to. Zoo's probably going to win whoever he fights next. I believe.
Well, he's going to fight. He's going to fight the guy, the
Fundora?
Inferno. Yeah, he's fighting Fundora.
Yeah, I believe he'll beat that fight.
I don't know.
I think he'll win that fight. And
he probably is going to win.
That would make him even more attractive for Heyman to get Spence in front of him before Terrence get there, because they don't want Terrence in front of Spence, period. So if Terrence gets in front of Spence and then become the WBO junior welterweight champion, which he should have already been. He should have pensioned it. I know he did, but he should have done it even sooner. Seal it up, get in a position to fight the fight, and get in position to fight legally if necessary. That's what I would have him do. This is business again. And either Spence fights Terrence Crawford like he is supposed to, and fans already now seeing it's not Terrence who didn't want the rematch. It was Spence and his people, but not because of fear. It just was just another move. It was a chess move.
Well, Mr. Greg, you can't undermine the fact that Spence has a legitimate injury too, Mr. Greg.
No. I'm not dismissing his injury, but I'm thinking his injury plays a role in the moves that his people are making for him. And I question how, I believe he did have the injury, but I question on the rib situation. They never said he got that injury in training. So I'll question, what was he doing to get this injury? Because normally when you get injured in training, they say you were injured in training. They didn't say that. He just said he had a rib injury. Now, if I want to get, we want to start some controversy, and people were saying that he fought with injured ribs. How did he do that?
I don't know if his ribs was injured. That's why I never brought it up.
That's what I'm saying.
But here's the thing, though, Mr. Greg. The question becomes, and for Darth too, what is Terrence holding on to the 147 belts for if he's not going to fight Boots? What's the point? It's no point of holding on to the belts. You ain't going to fight Boots.
I think
he might fight Boots. He might fight Boots. He might just fight Boots. You can't just dismiss it.
But
might have to. He might want to fight Boots. He might want to fight.
Hey man, Terrence Crawford don't want no smoke with Gervonta Ennis, and we all know that.
Y'all said the same thing about him wanting to smoke with Spence, and look what happened. For years, that's all we kept hearing. That's all we kept hearing. Oh man, he don't want to fight, man. He don't want, man. Come on, man. Y'all know he's so used to.
But
he didn't until he did.
Terrence Crawford himself said he didn't want to fight Spence. We've heard him say that.
And he did that, but he ended up fighting him.
Fighters.
That's true. That's true.
They don't want to fight a particular person, and then fight them.
Exactly.
How many times have we heard fighters say, I don't want to fight this guy, but then then they fight anyway?
Well, he did the right thing before he fought him.
What was the right thing?
I'm glad you asked. That's
I know what
I wanted to hear. I wanted to hear you see. Why did he do this? You see, that's why he changed his mind, Mr. Greg.
I don't think he ever changed his mind.
Oh, yes, he did.
I think that was all talk all along.
He was
not the first fighter who say, I don't want to fight. He don't mean nothing to me. And
no, he wasn't.
Right.
He wasn't. But the difference between the guys you're talking about was the money. The difference with this guy, Crawford, is this. You see, you see, we can't deny it now.
Money was the issue with them too.
No way.
Yeah. And I said that. As soon as the money was right, the fight would happen.
No way. The money got right because Errol Spence gave up a lot to acquiesce to Crawford.
But why did Errol Spence do it? Errol Spence did what he thought was in his best interest. He wasn't being no generous, benevolent guy.
Well, what it was
is he wanted that designation of being undisputed.
Right, but that's because
he made the concession.
Right, but that's because
Bud leveraged him. Bud leveraged him.
That's because Errol Spence believed in his heart of hearts that he could beat Terrence Crawford. However,
Okay.
what he miscalculated. He
Okay.
miscalculated and underestimated. And I'm going to show you right again.
That's what he did.
There you see, he miscalculated. He didn't realize how powerful that program works.
Nah,
he didn't.
Hey, Marty, if I could.
Earl Spence was arrogant. Earl Spence had kept winning, even though he was cutting corners, but he kept winning. So
yeah, he said that.
All that.
Yeah, he did say that.
I'm gonna tell you why I think he's gonna fight Bruce.
His chest and getting away with it, and his fans egging him on. You the bone collector, Earl. Go ahead, you can do that. And you didn't watch who you was actually going to go up against. You thought you could.
No, he did watch.
Bait.
He watched.
He
watched the same Crawford that we all watched. The one that fought Mean Machine Galaskas. That was what we watched.
Okay.
Yeah, that was what we watching.
But he came in the ring.
What he underestimated was the snack program.
That's what he underestimated.
Nah,
See,
he
that's what I'm trying to say.
Because the snack program didn't improve his skills. The only thing the snack program did for Terrence is help him build his mass properly.
That's not all it did, Mr. Greg.
I said the only reason why he went over, this is my opinion, why he went over there, because he wanted to address his size. He was smaller than Earl Spence. His people said it. I saw it, and I believed, and I said he was addressing the fact that he was the smaller fighter, and he wasn't going to come in the ring against Earl Spence being as small as he was.
No problem. So I got a question for you. Are you saying that him getting in the ring with Errol Spence as a smaller fighter, if he was not on snack, are you saying that Terrence Crawford didn't have a confidence to beat Errol Spence?
No.
Huh?
No, I'm not saying he didn't have the confidence. I'm saying he covered all the bases. If there had not been a snack program, and I didn't know there was a snack program, he still would have beat Earl Spence. In my opinion, I said that too.
No, I agree with your
snack. But now when the snack came up, I said, oh, okay. Now he addressed the one thing that Earl had over him, which was size. So Earl had absolutely nothing. And when I said 5% and all y'all went crazy, when you look at that fight, did you see more than 5%?
Well, here's the thing, Greg.
You didn't answer the question. Did you see more than 5%?
I saw more than 5%.
How much of percentage did you see that he was winning?
I know one thing. I didn't see 100% from neither one of them. What I'm basically saying is I respect your analysis that Terrence Crawford went to the snack program because of his size disadvantage. But the thing about it is, Greg, you feel like that in your heart. Darth Crawford might feel like that in his heart. Other Crawford fans might feel in their heart that Terrence Crawford didn't need snack and he would have beat Spence. But here's the problem. Terrence Crawford didn't feel that way. He didn't feel confident, bro. That's why he called that man up and told him, hold on, Greg, because this is from Conte's mouth himself. He said, let me get my phone. He said,
well, you know, I asked the question.
Yeah, you did. You did. You said, who called who, Victor?
Who called who?
And Victor said, Crawford called me and said, I know your history. I don't care nothing about none of that. I don't care about that. I went in. And he got in and got what he went over there for. And you see what he did.
That's why he came in with 100% of all the advantages. As I give Spence the 5%, which I did. But you ain't see Spence win no more than 5% of that fight.
You knew that Terrence Crawford did not look as good as he did until he went to snack, Greg.
And he wasn't
Even
supposed
you knew
to.
that.
He wasn't supposed to. If you coming up with the biggest fight of your entire life, you should look spectacular. You should cover every single solitary base that you can.
But that wasn't the toughest fight of his life.
Huh?
That's not the toughest fight of his life.
What was the biggest fight besides his mother? I don't say that to be disparaging, but the fight between Spence and Crawford was the biggest fight either one of them had.
No, that's not true. And
Yes,
I'm gonna
that is.
let 2 Cents cook right after me.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Greg, that is not true. I'm gonna tell you why.
I know what you're gonna say, though.
Don't y'all interrupt me either. I'm gonna use Terrence Crawford fans' words. Errol Spence, keep his head on the line. He don't have no footwork. He don't have no defense. Bo Mack said that he fight just like he did in the amateurs. He don't have no combination punches that make you say, oh, he's doing something spectacular. All he does is come forward. All he does is throw 2 jabs and then the left hand. He don't have this. He lacks that. He's a drunk. He was in multiple car accidents. The guy never put 100% in. This is what we've heard Terrence Crawford fans say about Spence.
True.
That doesn't sound like a guy who would give Terrence Crawford all of that trouble. But what it sounds like to me, what it sounds like to me is that if I listen to Terrence Crawford fans long enough, it sounds like to me that Terrence Crawford basically didn't need any enhancements because, hey, Errol Spence is just an amateur fighter. He's a one-trick pony. This is what y'all been saying about the guy.
Who kept winning.
Hold on, Mr. Greg, hold on. So if what y'all been saying about Errol Spence was true all of this time, this was no big challenge for Terrence Crawford. He didn't need snack for that. You agree with me, don't you, Mr. Greg?
No. How was he winning? How was he winning? With all those problems that Errol Spence actually have, Errol Spence was still winning. So something was causing him to still win. With all those issues that he has, including the accidents and the drinking and so forth, he was still winning. Why was that? Because of his size.
Because he was great, Mr. Greg. Because he was great.
Until he met somebody greater.
Hey, roll to the occasion.
How you doing?
I'm good. Y'all give me 1 sec. Y'all give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
Okay.
See, here's the thing, Mr. Greg. I mean, I appreciate you doing it. Darth Crawford, are you there?
I'm right here.
Quick question, and I want your honest opinion.
Yep.
Before Errol Spence fought Terrence Crawford, because I know you're a Crawford fan and you thought Terrence was going to win. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate Errol Spence as a fighter overall?
How would I rate Errol Spence as a fighter? I didn't catch the last part.
Yes, overall.
Overall, I mean, for a welterweight,
damn, is it that hard?
I'm trying. I mean, because I'm trying not to, disrespect the man, because I like Spence.
No. Give us your honest assessment. There's no disrespect. It's cool.
I'd probably say 7 out of 10.
No, from 1 to 10.
You said a 7.
7.
7.
Yep.
Okay. And Terrence Crawford need a snack to be the guy who's a 70%?
I mean, I'm not going to say Terrence Crawford went to snack just because of Spence. That's never been.
What else did he go over there for? Because he didn't need him to fight David Ebenezer, and you know he didn't need snack to beat no David Ebenezer.
Neither I or you know why he went over there. Same reason we don't know why all the other fighters went over there.
Oh, we know why he went over there. You just scared to say
I don't know why. Clarissa Shields is undisputed. I don't know why she went over there.
I'm not talking about Clarissa.
I'm just saying.
Man. Why you talking about Clarissa, bruh?
Because I'm just trying to put it in context.
She only worked with him for one fight, dog.
Context. I don't know.
No,
neither do you.
Context.
You're assuming he went there for Spence, but he went there like three fights prior.
All right, so Mr. Greg said he went over there because he knew that he had to improve his mass or muscle weight or something.
That's Mr. G's opinion, and he's entitled to his opinion. I respect his opinion, but I don't believe that's what he went there for. I couldn't tell you why he went there for.
Tell me what you believe.
Nutritious, to take care of his body, just like all these top athletes do.
I feel you. I understand that. No, I understand nutrition and everything but why he do that now when in 36 professional fights, there were no problems. He had no nutrition problems before that. Before he went to Victor Conte, he had no nutrition problems.
We don't
know.
He did
mention somebody did mention he had some type of issue with iron or something. I don't know, something like that.
Oh,
but I don't know.
Got an issue with iron.
Okay, I mean,
you said therapeutic use. What you say?
I ain't saying nothing about therapeutic anything. I just said
therapeutic use exemption. No, tell me what you was going to say. What
walked you into that, D?
Therapeutic use exemption? Is that what you were trying to say?
I have no idea what you're talking about. But
okay.
I honestly don't know why he went there. To me, he went there just like all the other fighters, went there for to
enhance his performance.
Better their nutrition.
Enhance his performance. Say it. Enhance his performance.
He went there to enhance his performance.
Thank you.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
Go back to
Houston's boxing. You there?
I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I got a couple things I want to say. What up, panel? Mr. Greg, Darth Crawford. It's been a while, y'all. What's up? What's up, chat? I got a couple questions, couple dimes I want to drop real quick. But first, I actually agree with Darth Crawford. I think that I know that's kind of weird for me to say, but I think that there is a chance that Crawford might fight Jaron Ennis, because what other reason would he have to be holding on to the belt, and why haven't they stripped him? Like, he's literally holding up the division. Like, literally. Right now, nobody else can get the belt except the IBF, which they gave to Boots, because he got the other belt. And he's talking about fighting at every other weight division but 147. So I think it's weird that but let me ask you a question, Marty. If he fight at he can't even fight at 154 with those belts, right? They're going to strip him.
He has to vacate every title before he moves up to, take over the reins. And the reason why I say it, because most people say, well, Charlo, he, didn't have to give up his belts when he fought Canelo. The difference is that Terrence Crawford is not going to compete at 147 anymore. That's the difference. Whereas though Charlo, all he got to do is lose like he did, go back down to his division, and then just keep fighting at the same division. To me, I've been hearing that Terrence Crawford is not interested in being 147 in the first place. So that's why it's holding the division up hostage. He's not going to fight at 47 no more. This is what we've been hearing. So it's no point of holding the belts if he's not going to fight at 47. Just drop them, vacate them, and then go up to another division and fight for those titles. It's very simple.
And that's what makes me think he's going to, because there's no financial incentive for the sanctioning bodies to continue to let him hold those belts. It doesn't make sense. And so I think it was Mauricio Suleiman or whatever was saying they was letting him hold him to see what he was going to do and all of this other stuff. So I'm like, why has he got the belts? And if you follow Terrence Crawford, he has a pattern of saying who he's not going to fight and then fighting. Terrence Crawford never talks about who he's going to fight. Never. I've never heard Terrence Crawford talk about an opponent and go fight that opponent. I've never seen him do that. And he could be secretly getting ready to fight Jaron Ennis. And then Jaron Ennis, is he about to fight on Canelo's card? Because I know he's dealing with, you said no?
Nah.
I think he's still tied up with that lawsuit. I don't think he's fighting nobody.
So I know he's still tied up in his legal situation, and I know nobody knows how long that takes. But wouldn't it be ironic if he gets this legal situation figured out, and now all of a sudden Terrence Crawford wants to fight him, and he's been out of the ring for a while? Because if you follow,
that's not Terrence's fault.
Wait. If you follow Terrence Crawford's pattern, when it's time to fight a big name, he doesn't fight them unless there's some type of advantage there. Sean Porter been out the ring for a long time. Earl Spence coming off that accident, long layoff, and whatever else he had going on. So I could see that happening and that being the reason why they're letting him keep those belts. So I don't really know, because if he fights at 54 and he still has those belts, he's definitely gonna go back down and fight. And I wanted to ask manager Marty, is the PBC possibly blackballing Crawford because he didn't re-sign? I know the fight was ordered for him to fight whoever wins out of Tim Tszyu and Fundora, but why wouldn't he sign with the PBC when all the 54 pounders that people want to see him fight are at the PBC? Like,
Well,
why wouldn't he sign with them?
I want to be clear right now. Terrence Crawford signed a multi-fight deal with PBC. Let's just be clear on that.
He did.
Oh, he did.
I mean, hey, listen. When you see
I heard he walked away.
When you see Terrence Crawford at an event, let's say as close as like a month or two ago, Sam Watson is on his hip for a reason. Go and watch when Terrence Crawford go places. Sam Watson is with him. There's a reason for that.
So why is Bo Magnum saying he a free agent and all of that? Like, why are they trying to hide the fact?
Well, maybe he is, but if you're a free agent, you ain't gotta wait for nobody. What is he waiting for? If he's a free agent, what is he waiting for? See, you don't have to dance at nobody else's beat of their drum when you're a free agent. What is he waiting for? He can fight right now. He don't have to wait because he's tied into a contract. This is what when people say, oh, Canelo left the PBC and then he came back. You don't leave no promotion company for 2 weeks and then come back. That's impossible. That's not how the business of boxing works. Now, were they at an impasse in negotiations? That's highly possible. Most likely, yes. But to say that you just leave, here's how it works. I'm just gonna say this. If someone is signed, let me say this first. In boxing, I can't speak for no other sports. I don't have any experience in those sports. In boxing, you honor your contract. Voluntarily or involuntarily, you honor your contract. That's just in other words, if a fighter is signed to a promoter and they have 2 or 3 fights left on that contract and they choose not to compete, guess what? Then they don't compete and they hurting themselves. Or they say, well, you know what? I'm going to take some time off and retire. I'm coming back, but I'm going to fall back for a minute. They still are obligated. There's things that have to happen for a fighter to get released from a manager and or a promoter. It's not like they can just wake up in the morning and say, I'm done. Everything is just squashed. That's not how it works in the business of boxing. When you sign a contract, you honor your contract involuntarily or voluntarily. So what I'm saying is if Terrence Crawford is a free agent, meaning that he's not signed directly to Al Heyman, there's nothing wrong with that. But he's fighting under that banner of PBC. Because if he wasn't, Sam Watson would not be following him around in unrelated events that have nothing to do with boxing. And on top of that, why he not fighting then? What he waiting for?
Let me tell you what the narrative is. The narrative is that he was only signed for the Spence fight and the rematch expired, and PBC offered him a 3-fight deal with, I think, Charlo, Lubin, and somebody else, and he turned it down. He walked away from it. He turned it down. So now he's a free agent, and Bud got all the power, and Bud could do whatever he wants.
That's not how the business works. I can assure anybody that come to me with that, I can assure you that they don't know what they're talking about. And I'm going to give you a classic example using Devin Haney. When Devin Haney signed a 3-fight deal with Bob Arum in Top Rank, and I said this last year, they knew exactly who their opponents were going to be before they signed. When you do a multi-fight deal with a promoter, it's not like they just say, we're just going to sign you and we'll figure things out as we go along. No, because the promoter has to continuously invest monies into this fighter and into the opponents. It's so much that go on behind the scenes when it comes to materializing a fight. So when the promoter says, we want you for 3 fights, we pretty much have the fighters that we know is going to be lucrative for us and you, to make it appealing to you to say, I'm just going to sign a short-term deal without being locked into a guaranteed contract for 2, 3, 4 years. It's almost like 3-fight deal was like more short term. You can get 3 fights. You can get 3 fights in a year and a half. It don't have to be a standard 3-year contract. And so what I'm saying is, when you got a guy or a woman, a fighter that's locked into a classic example, I'll give you this. I had a fighter, right, that I was managing. I'm not going to say his name. It's not important. I was managing him, and there was somebody else, another promoter behind the scenes, who knew that he was under contract with me. Knew it, and tried to circumvent the process to make an appeal to my fighter that I was representing to say, hey, look, fighter, I'll pay you X amount of dollars if you fight on my card. Your manager don't have to sign off on it, blah, 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 blah. He don't have to know. It's all good. Here's the money. You fight on my card this date. There's 2 things that could have happened. And I'll tell you exactly what happened at the end. But there's 2 things that could have happened in that scenario. I could have said, fighter, that's a good bag. You got it. You got my blessing on that. Go ahead and fight. Or I could have said, you know what? I'm going to act like I don't know anything about this, because the promoter didn't call me and tell me. The promoter himself never called me and negotiated no deal with me on behalf of my fighter. I could have said, you know what? I'm gonna let the fighter go ahead and compete. And guess what would happen when that fighter would have got finished competing? Because then I would have already made my phone calls to the commissioner. As soon as that fighter gets out the ring and he goes to sign for his check, commissioner says, whoa, you can't get no check. Whoa, I just got finished working in the ring. Well, guess what? We're going to impound your purse because you violated the contract with your manager. That's how that could have happened. You see? So what actually did happen, I'm going to tell you exactly what did happen, because I could have impounded the purse of that fighter. But see, here's the deal. You can go fight for another promoter if you want. Go ahead. But see, now that doesn't, even though I didn't work, I didn't negotiate on your behalf, I still am entitled contractually to my percentage. So how you want to do this? You want me to get free money and not have to do nothing? Or you want me to negotiate on your behalf to increase your purse? You tell me how you want this to go. Because the reason why the promoter circumvented me and all of the protocols and channels is so he can lowball you. So you tell me, you tell me how you want this to work. I work for you. You tell me how you want this to work out.
So why do you think that they want the perception to be that Terrence Crawford is not with the PBC? And I also remember after the fight, the Spence fight, I remember hearing Espinoza say they want to do the rematch at the end of next year. So I don't think that they're not going to have the rematch. They've already said they want it for the end of this year.
Nah, he said that was end of last year. That was the rematch supposed to take place in December.
No. He said that when they did the interview, he said they don't know about the fight being in December, maybe at the end of next year. So he was talking about 2024.
Mm-hmm. I heard
that's what I heard Espinoza say. So I'm kind of keeping that in the back of my mind. And then I don't know, I could see them setting up another undisputed fight with Terrence and Spence for the rematch. There are one of them already going to fight for 2 belts, whether it's Spence or Crawford, whoever fights Tim or Fundora next. And I
think they passed that fight, man. There's really, I don't think there's not enough demand for that rematch, because
it will be if they have belts though at 54.
Casual seen what they seen. Casual saw one fighter just completely more dominant than the other. It's like,
but everybody know that wasn't Earl Spence. Like everybody gotta stop acting like that was the Earl
Casuals
Spence.
Don't.
Yes, that was.
Listen, and you know what I respect? Every time you ask a boxer about that fight, they always acknowledge the fact that wasn't the Earl Spence we were used to seeing in the ring. They always acknowledge that. So I don't know why y'all keep saying that was Earl Spence. Like it's
y'all just saw the worst of him. That's all.
And we saw the best of Crawford.
You saw
Both
the
of
worst,
these guys look different, Mr.
but
Greg.
you
I've
oh
been telling y'all
and they
this.
was both of them should have looked like Crawford, but only one of them did. What you
No,
saw,
you ain't never
saw,
seen
what
Crawford look that good, Mr.
you
Greg.
Or
that's
Spence
right.
looked that bad.
He was supposed to look back. I just said that. You saw the worst of Spence because of Spence. Spence didn't go in that ring looking like he did because he was sick. He went in the ring because of his bad habits caught up with him. That's all. His bad habits caught up with him, and he went in the ring with somebody who didn't have bad habits, and he got handed his head. Now, should they ever get to 154, he's learned a valuable lesson. Don't be out here cutting corners. Don't be out here partying. Don't be out here doing the stupid stuff that you did that has diminished you. Yeah,
Yes.
you'll see a better Earl Spence, but you just saw Earl Spence. That's who Earl Spence was because of what he was doing. I'm not saying he don't have skills. I'm saying you saw Earl Spence at his worst because he made himself that way because of his bad habits. That if he told y'all that he was long overdue for the butt whooping and it went over your heads, it seemed to be, he told y'all he wasn't doing what he was supposed to do as a fighter for some
That's true.
time.
There's
Man,
another
that
lesson.
man was dehydrated, broken, blind. Still,
For all the
Terrence still
stupid
ain't knock
stuff
him out.
that he did.
He
That's how he
learned
got
something
that
else,
way.
though, Mr. Greg. He learned
Yeah.
something else, and I'm going to say this, and I want to introduce Ironheart that just jumped
Hey,
on
I
the
see
panel.
you
I thought
snarling.
salute to my
What up,
homegirl
Mr.
Sheena.
Ironheart?
Yes,
So,
what's going on with you? I see you back there snarling, waiting to get in.
Let me
so,
throw this in
Man,
there
look,
real quick
look.
too.
real quick,
Waiting to come in
real
and
quick.
hate on Bud.
Oh, time out. Hold on 1 second. Salute to Sheena. I always thought Sheena had a wrench, but she got one tonight. That was for you, Sheena. I thought Sheena always had a wrench. Let me just say this real quick. So, Mr. Greg, I respect what you're saying. I do, and you know that. But here's the thing, though. The thing is, there is another lesson that Errol Spence have to learn, and I'm not saying he didn't learn it. I hope he did learn it. You know why? Because I educated all boxing fans all across the world for the last 7, 8, 9 months. And that is a lesson that Errol Spence have to learn. He underestimated this right here. Oh, I know he's going to make you mad. But he underestimated Snap. He didn't realize how powerful that program was. He didn't realize it. You know what I mean? And so now, hey, he realized that's a powerful program. They doing some stuff over there, Mr. Greg.
He realized his arrogance cost him. That's what he realized. He
Well, hey,
realized that you're playing around. Now he did admit to y'all,
he
yes,
did.
I wasn't supposed because I kept winning. So when arrogance will breed contempt. He had
But that's what
contempt
I'm.
for the
But
whole
Mr.
thing.
Greg, that's
So
what
he's
I'm trying.
learned. He's
But
learned.
Mr. Greg,
Yeah.
that's what I'm trying to convey to Terrence Crawford fans. That Errol Spence, I'm gonna go back to what y'all said. He's a one-trick pony.
Right.
He don't move his head.
Right.
He keep his head on the line.
Right.
He takes so many punches. He
Right.
don't have no footwork. All he does is come forward, jab, jab, left, straight hand. He don't got no power like that. And watch this. Errol Spence himself admitted that he didn't take boxing 100% seriously. But you know what's crazy about all of those things? If they're all true about Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford don't feel the same way y'all do. Because if he thought that Spence was a one-trick pony, if he thought, oh man, all he do is just keep his foot in one spot, he don't got no footwork, and he just keep his head on the line, he don't got no power like that, he's just big for nothing. Man, this guy ain't got no defense. He wouldn't need Victor Conte for a fighter like that. I mean, we've seen how he fought guys that wasn't on his level and what he does to them. So you're confident. Darth Crawford's confident. Most Crawford fans are confident that Terrence Crawford didn't need the snack program to beat Spence. But you can't have it both ways.
Yes,
It's
you
either
can.
he needed it or
Yes,
he
you
didn't.
can. You can have it both ways. And
It's
he
either
did.
he needed it
And
or
he
he
did.
didn't.
And he did have it both ways.
Did
You
he need
can't
it,
have-
Mr. Greg?
Did he need the muscle mass?
No. Did he need the snack program to beat Spence?
No. But he needed the muscle mass because he could have got that from somewhere else, but he got it from the snack program. That's all.
Muscle mass.
He was smaller than Spence.
But he's a 147-pound champion.
So
You might want to answer that, Mr. Greg.
So is Spence.
You might want to answer that, Mr. Greg.
So is
You're
Spence.
walking into something, Mr. Greg.
No, I'm
you
not.
might want to answer. That might be Crawford calling you.
I've been looking for this for a long time. Come on with it.
That might be Bud calling you.
I've been waiting to shoot all the shots. So come on.
If that's Terrence Crawford calling you, I'll answer the phone because I want to ask him myself.
I want to ask for my darn self so I'll know whether.
So you're right, Mr. Greg. You said that Terrence Crawford possibly went over there for the muscle mass, right?
Build the muscle. Build muscle. You know what you keep showing?
Yeah, I'm about to show it right here. You talking about this right here?
Yeah.
No. I'm gonna show you like this. This look like this.
Who is that?
That's another guy from Snack. That's Brian
Mendoza.
Mendoza. Yeah, that's Mendoza. Hold on, let me see if I can do it this way.
That's who knocked out Fundora.
Yeah, that him.
Oh, okay.
Let me see.
Like you got a lot of mass on him.
Ooh, that Snack program will get you right.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can. Oh, I got to see. I can put this on the screen here.
And that's what I wanted to say too. I don't think this Fundora Tim Tszyu fight is gonna. Everybody is like, oh, Crawford fighting Tim Tszyu next. Hey, y'all cannot. I've been following Fundora. I like Fundora. I'm a fan of his. Y'all cannot overlook Fundora in this Tim Tszyu fight. It's actually a better fight and probably going to be a more competitive fight. Well, I don't know. I can't really say that.
You think he's gonna win?
I think he definitely has the possibility. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Everybody got that, but what's the percentage he has of winning?
This is my only issue with Fundora is that he's coming off a long layoff and a knockout loss.
Mm-hmm.
If that were not in the equation, I would give Fundora a 60% chance of winning.
That's quite generous.
Fundora is a good fighter. He hits hard. He doesn't really use his range as much, but you know what? I heard he got LASIK eye surgery, and I'm wondering if he really fixed his vision, if that will make him a different fighter. Because I think that's the reason why he fought on the inside was because he can't see.
How long ago did he have the surgery?
I don't know. I just heard somebody say that.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I don't know how true it is.
LASIK doesn't always work, from what I understand, because I was going to have LASIK and they just said don't bother with it.
Really?
But I've heard from the optometrist that it doesn't always work, and sometimes
that's because they want you to keep buying glasses, Greg.
This is the only pair I got. So if I break these, you'd be seeing me squinting. But they say that the LASIK, you sometimes need multiple surgeries, and then over a period of time, your sight will still begin to fade again from whatever it was.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, today's technology, you never know what can happen or what's better now. I'll put it that way. So we'll see.
And I always felt like they was building Fundora up to fight Spence anyway. I felt like they was building that fight.
Fundora ain't got the heart. He ain't got the dog in him to compete with Tim Tszyu. Because if y'all remember,
you see that Lubin fight? How could you say that?
Yeah, but I'm talking when I'm talking about dog, it's like when you put in a predicament where you got buckled down, like, all right, man, I gotta go get this. When he got clipped, that man was looking at the ref like, you gonna do something about this? Can you just stop this right away? So we can end this?
I mean, just because
Tszyu's gonna do him dirty.
We'll see, man. We'll see. I like Tszyu too, don't get me wrong. But I still don't see really the hype around Tszyu. I don't see it yet.
Are you disappointed that Keith is out of the fight now?
Not really. I felt like definitely Keith Thurman had the skills to beat Tim Tszyu.
Mm-hmm.
But what I learned from the Terrence Crawford Earl Spence fight is that these long layoffs is kryptonite to these older fighters. Like they cannot be doing that. They cannot be trying to come in the ring and fight off these long layoffs when they're up in age. I actually feel like maybe they should be fighting more as you get older versus less, because I'm starting to see the pattern of the long layoff and then the bad performance. And it's definitely not like you don't have the skill. You obviously do, and we all know that. But those long layoffs really affect them. And it would have been a good fight. He maybe would have gave him a good fight for a couple rounds, but I didn't see Keith Thurman really pulling it out. I mean, it was a possibility, of course.
I agree with you about the long layoffs. It even affects younger fighters because you train so hard and you do so much to your body to get prepared for a fight in the first place. And then when you don't do it, your body is still aging. It ages every day anyway, regardless of what you are. So when you fought in January and then you don't fight again until December, well, you only trained. You can stay in shape all year round, but you only gonna train for that 8 weeks or that 10 weeks sometimes. So what has happened, and this is just my opinion, from January up to say October, your body has still aged. Now you got to make it do something that it hasn't done since January. Now that when you older, everything changes. I don't care how many vitamins, push-ups, sit-ups, running, jogging, and I use myself as an example. You ain't gonna be who you was last year. You're not gonna be who you was 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And now you get ready to fight somebody who's 10 years younger. Even if he hasn't fought in 10 years, he has less, unless he's had a whole bunch of hard fights. He has less wear and tear on his body than you do, even if they haven't had hard fights, just because you're older. You're just an older guy. So I do agree that you have to fight more to keep yourself sharper. As great as fighters could fight 3 times a year, we would all be talking a lot more about things other than, it's great to talk about the business, but we would be talking about the fighters because we've seen their improvement a lot sooner. We've seen it every 3 months or what have you, or we're seeing their deterioration a lot sooner. But now we got to wait 18 months for a guy to fight again. As you know, you can get into all kind of stupid crap. You can get in trouble, you get in accidents, you can get hurt, you get in legal jeopardy, all of that within that time that you're not in the ring because you're not disciplined enough to be in the gym, get prepared, you're doing the promos. You got a whole bunch of stuff in between that gap. So I get what you're saying. Thurman, as we saw, been getting into BS debates with Clarissa Shields or talking about other fighters, but he has not been fighting. So I would have loved to have seen. I thought this might have been his swan song, this last fight. But I'd like to see, him getting a shot. But then I realized he wasn't even getting a title shot, which I was okay with that. But I would see if he had gotten better.
Mr. Greg, I had a question, Mr. Greg. I want to make sure. I dropped out of college, and when you use big words. You said muscle mass. You said muscle mass.
Oh, muscle mass. That ain't no big word.
Huh?
Muscle mass is in the promo for Snack.
You talking about this? Let me make
sure.
Go
ahead, put it up.
I'm gonna put it up. You know I am.
Go ahead, put
that
it
right
up.
there?
Where it says build, where's it at? Yeah, build muscle. Well, I guess I should have said build muscle. Okay.
Build muscle. Okay. So what I had to do, because I have it already in my phone and I have it before and after pictures, all kind of great stuff in this phone. But the thing is, when you said muscle mass, like I said, big words. I figured I try to see if you can help me understand. So when you say muscle mass, you said Terrence Crawford, in your opinion, went to the snack program and Victor Conte to build muscle mass to fight Errol Spence, right?
He needed to be at least to try to match Spence's size. So that's what I meant by muscle mass.
Muscle mass.
Because you don't need fat.
Yeah, he definitely need muscle mass. Here's a picture of Mendoza.
Mm-hmm.
That Brian Mendoza before he went to snack. Can y'all
Looks
see that?
flabby. Yeah, he looks pretty flabby.
Yeah. Now let me show you how he looked when he fought Fundora on snack.
Excellent.
You see that?
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah. I'm gonna show you Devin Haney. You know who this is, don't you? That Devin.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Now this is Devin Haney before snack. 2 Cents Boxing, Ironheart, Darth, and Greg. Then him when he was at the Mayweather gym. Devin Haney. Look at Devin Haney right there.
Mm-hmm.
Let me show you how he look now that he on snack. Woo, Lord have mercy. You see that? Yeah. This is Caleb Plant right here. You see his obliques? Look at his obliques. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Looking good.
Yeah. You see that?
Yep.
I got a question though. How did Mendoza look against Zoo? What's on the snack program?
Huh?
How did Mendoza look against Zoo while on the snack program?
He looked regular to me. I mean, snack doesn't promise any
Nah, he
wins.
looked pathetic.
Well, the thing is, did he have a snack logo on his trunks at the time?
Isn't he still with him?
No, I didn't ask you that. I don't know the answer, and I'll pull it up. But I'm asking you if you knew. Did he have the snack logo on his trunks? Huh?
I don't know, but you're the one who said he was a snack.
No,
his last fight was against Zoo.
Right, but Victor Conte was here and he confirmed that he was on snack, which I already knew that already. Remember, he knocked out Fundora. Remember, it was no VADA testing in that fight. Remember that? Victor Conte told us that. That's what he said. Yeah. Like when Caleb Plant fought David Benavidez, he didn't have the snack logo on his trunks.
So he still was snack then, because Victor Conte just said he was a snack.
No, I'm talking about Caleb Plant.
No, I'm talking about Mendoza.
No, okay, stay with me. Caleb Plant, we know he's a snack fighter. What I'm saying is when he fought David Benavidez, he didn't have the snack logo on his trunks.
So he wasn't with snack at the time, and he re-signed with them, was what you're saying?
Well, I don't know if they signed any paperwork. I doubt that. But what I'm basically saying is that his performance didn't look the same. That's what I'm saying.
What about Robert Garcia? How does his performance look? He be wearing a snack logo on his hat.
Who?
Robert Garcia
is the trainer, ain't he?
I know that.
You mean Bam Rodriguez?
No, I'm just saying. I'm just trying. I'm messing around.
Like this. Like Sean Porter when Sean Porter fought Errol Spence, he didn't have the snack logo on his trunks. You see what I'm saying? You see how he was tired in them later rounds, and when he got knocked down by Spence, he was really hurt. But when he got on the snack program again, when he was fighting Terrence Crawford, you see how he looked. He wasn't tired and he wasn't hurt. You remember seeing that, right?
Oh, he for sure was hurt. His daddy, the person who loves him the most, man.
Not hurt. Hey, man,
his daddy, man. His daddy seen it, man. That's the person that loves him the most. He's like, man, no.
Well, wait a minute. Let's be clear. We all can agree that when Sean Porter got knocked down, he banged his fist on the canvas several times and got up, and he was not hurt. We know that.
Kenny had no reason to stop that fight.
Kenny
and
Porter.
Hey, look, that was the only. Hold on, let me talk. Let me get up in here. Because that was the only successful three-piece that he landed in the whole damn fight. He landed it on the canvas and the 10 for 10. That was a pathetic ass one.
That's all you need.
I'm just talking. I'm talking figuratively. Sean was giving him wins. I'm just saying that he put a lot of effort into that 10. He was about to punch a goddamn hole in the floor. That was a joke right there, for one. And I want to address this goddamn blasphemy. Pardon me, Marty. Pardon me. But I want to address this blasphemy because that's the reason why I clicked on here in the first place. I came in right at the right time. I was talking to my little brother. And right when I clicked back onto the stream, I heard 2 Cent address the fact that was not the same Spence. And I was just hearing some blasphemy that was the same Spence that whooped on Ugas, that was the same Spence that whooped on Floyd Mayweather.
that Terrence Crawford beat? Like, is that what we're saying? After Victor Conte came up here and addressed the fact that this is Crawford's nutritionist now. After
Floyd
he addressed
Mayweather.
the fact, after he addressed the fact that Spence did something very stupid and may have contracted altitude sickness. This is from Crawford's people. So does that not verify the fact he's addressing the fact that Spence was not 100%? And anybody with eyes, first off, my younger brother, and not to discredit him like my family don't bang, but anybody would have beaten Spence that night, and anybody could have seen that. It just as well as the fact that wasn't the same Crawford that we're used to seeing. Both versions. Spence had to, in my words, Spence had to look bad in order for Crawford to look good.
Wrong. We saw the worst of Earl Spence because of Earl Spence's own foolishness. We saw the worst of Earl Spence because of his bad habit. He did that to himself, and that's not the first time he's done stupid stuff to himself. But what you keep seeing.
Victor Conte said that. Victor Conte said that. Right, but he did something very stupid.
That's not the first time, though.
And Victor Conte also said Bud will beat him any day of the week.
Yeah. So Bud need to go prove that.
Earl
did. He already did.
No.
He still wins. That's what y'all glossing over. He does.
Roberto Duran. Roberto Duran beat Sugar Ray Leonard the first time, right?
And what did Roberto do the second time? He went and partied, had a big time.
Here we go.
That's what happened.
Facts, Mr. Greg, facts.
And Ray knew it.
He wasn't watching boxing back then.
Earlier, because Roberto was at home, his whole country was happy, and he had a grand old time. And he had to lose almost 80 pounds in a short period of time to do the rematch. Do the history on that.
Floyd Mayweather lost. Floyd Mayweather lost to what's my man's name? I mean, even though he got the win, why's the name? The name is just eluding me. You know who I'm talking about? Y'all know who I'm talking about.
Castillo.
Castillo.
Oh, you feel Floyd lost the fight?
I definitely feel like there's a sound argument. I feel like there's a sound argument for that loss, but I definitely feel like this. I know the second time it didn't play. The second time it didn't play out like that.
Guess who was better the second time? Guess who came better prepared?
So why do y'all Crawford fans believe in Crawford more than he believes in himself? Because when Spence,
do you forgetting that Spence was the one who didn't pull out the fight?
It doesn't matter what we believe.
He ain't paying attention.
What fight did he pull out of, Dar?
Yeah.
What fight did Spence pull out of?
Representatives from the WBC just stated that the rematch was to take place at 154 for the 154 junior middleweight strap.
Pull out of a fight if it's not even scheduled. Bro.
They never had
pull out of a fight if it's not scheduled.
Right. They offered him the fight. He declined.
That's not pulling out.
All right, my fault. He declined.
No.
He declined.
I doubt it. I doubt it.
Okay.
I'm taking my word. I'm just the messenger.
Okay,
hold on.
Marty?
Let's put this in context here. I think I seen my brother in the chat. D-Town Boxing. Salute to D-Town Boxing. I think I saw him in the chat. I want to play something. Speaking of D-Town.
I think y'all two at the top. My fault, Marty. I just think them two at the top took some snack products before they came up here for this debate. And they just going real hard. I think all y'all performances enhanced right now.
They got their punch resistance up. They got their punch resistance up.
So I want to play something that you said, Mr. Greg.
Okay.
In your super chat.
Okay.
Now, this is a video that me and D-Town Boxing did together, but it was me replaying something that Victor Conte said when I asked him a question, if everybody can mute their phones. It was a super chat that you brought up. I figured I'd let you hear it, and we'll hear what Victor said about when Terrence Crawford called him. Salute to him, Gregory Quarterbaum. Greg says, greeting, Manager Marty, the Roller Tape film crew or family, and Mr. Conte. Mr. Conte, did you contact Bud Crawford, or did Bud Crawford contact you? And when did you actually start working with him, and what was it he needed to improve? So let's break this down in increments. Did you contact Bud, or did Bud Crawford contact you?
Okay, as I said earlier, you have these companies out there that for every single fight, I don't know who contracts them, but they go around when they find sponsors and they say, would you like to sponsor this guy? Would you like to sponsor this guy? Would you like to sponsor this guy? Here's how much it's going to cost. I don't know who it was, but somebody that was representing Terrence contacted my office, okay, and wanted some ridiculous amount of money, $50,000 or something crazy for endorsement. I said no.
All right, I'm going to stop it there. So Victor Conte said someone from Terrence Crawford's camp called him and
For
said,
endorsement.
and relax, Darth, I got something for you. Mute your phone, brother. Thank you. So says, we want $50,000 on behalf of Terrence Crawford for an endorsement deal. Darth Crawford, you heard what Victor Conte stated in his answer?
Yep.
What'd he say?
He said it was a ridiculous amount.
He said no, right?
Mm-hmm.
He declined. Victor Conte declined the endorsement deal. So that theory of Terrence Crawford went there to get sponsored an endorsement, like I've been telling y'all before, y'all didn't listen, some of y'all. And even Victor Conte admitted he declined that. Hold on one second. Wait, stop, hold the tape, preacher. Somebody from Terrence Crawford's camp called this man and asked him on the phone for a sponsorship opportunity to endorse him. Yep. They said $50,000. Yes, man. That's right. This was back in 2021, before he agreed to get on the program. And what did the advocate say? What did the sponsor? He said he sponsored the fight. What did he say, Detail? He said, no, that's a ridiculous amount. Absolutely not. Mm-hmm. He said, no, 50,000. No. That's what the endorser said. Yeah. Other sponsors don't talk like that. Mm-hmm. When they know they have an athlete that's going to make them twice, 3 times, 5 times, 10 times the money back, they say yes. That's what they say. They say yes, Timothy Wilson. They say yes, 50,000 ain't nothing to us. But Victor Conte said, you calling about an endorsement deal. No.
Thereafter, at some point, Terrence called, and I talked with Terrence.
What did he say, Vic?
Aside from this guy.
What did he say?
And then Terrence, on his own, he basically said, this is Terrence, and you don't have to sell me on anything. I already know what you do. I've been following you, and I'd like to work with you, blah, blah, blah.
What the? Huh? That's what that what Victor Conte said Crawford told him. I don't want to hear nothing else. I don't need you to sell me on anything. You don't have to sell me. I've been following you. I know your history.
Hold up, Marty. He did say though he still pays the people that understand. He still sponsors them.
I know that's what he said. I know. But I don't want to go by that yet. I want to go by what we heard him say just now.
He did say that.
So what was that history? What was the history that he was talking about?
What was his history? You see, because if you've been following this guy, Victor Conte, and you know his history, then you know what he's capable of doing. I'm going to play it again because somebody in the chat.
Where'd Lucy go?
I don't know, but she'll be back. Hold on one second. I'm going to play that last part again. That's one of my favorite parts of the whole thing, Mr. Grant. Hold on. Here you go.
Thereafter, at some point, Terrence called, and I talked with Terrence.
What did he say, Vic?
Aside from this guy.
What did he say?
And then Terrence, on his own, he basically said, "This is Terrence, and you don't have to sell me on anything. I already know what you do. I've been following you, and I'd like to work with you, you know, blah, blah, blah."
Ooh, Mr. Greg, y'all can't get out of this one.
There's something to get out of.
Sound like Snack treating people better than Thanksgiving out here.
But basically called him and finagled him. He's like, he tried to sweet talk, man. Yeah, I heard, I know what you did. I know what you did with No Need to Donaire, all these other great fighters before. I know I asked for 50,000, but I'm gonna do it for a cool 40,000.
Okay, hold on. Now you just throwing numbers up. Let's hear what else Victor said when Crawford got on the phone and called Demetrius Andre.
And so we had a big talk. Then he called Demetrius Andre. He didn't tell me he was going to do that. And Demetrius said, "Trust me, you want to be with this guy. He will help you in many, many ways." Whatever Demetrius said, he vouched for me. And then Terrence called back and said, "I'm in. I want to be with you." And so,
I'm in. Ooh, he said, "I'm in. I want to be with you and Snack."
I love Victor's story, except he don't know what. And I believe Terrence called him, and I believe he called Andre, but he don't know what him and Andre said. Andre said,
well,
but that's
I
okay.
agree with you.
But that part is okay.
No,
I agree that he did call. The one
yeah, I agree, Mr. Greg. He doesn't know what Andre said, but whatever Andre said, it made Terrence Crawford a believer. Because he called him back and said, "I want in. I want to be with you and Snack."
Here's what I wish you had done when I gave you the question, when I asked about who called who. Because Victor stayed on the Terrence called me question, but he didn't answer the other two questions. He didn't answer exactly when he started, and he didn't even touch what was Terrence trying to address. He didn't touch that at all. I wish you had pressed him on that, because I think we would have gotten some great information. We got information.
I did press him on that. You don't remember what he said?
Did he tell you what was Terrence trying to address? Because I didn't hear anything on it. I didn't hear him answer that.
See, that was in the first interview. But see, he came back and said sponsorship. I said, if all the fighters are already good, most of them are world champions.
No, I heard that part.
Right, but
he said about what he was trying to address physically.
But Steve, Victor Conte didn't want to touch on that. He wanted
that's
to touch
what I wish
on.
you had pressed him on.
But he wanted to touch on the money part. Remember, he said they want sponsorship and money from me.
No, I saw that. But I wish when I was asking the question, I wanted to know, because I think I phrased it properly. I hope I did. When I said, "When did you start?" He didn't give a date on when he started, although we said that Terrence's first fight on the Snack program was with Sean Porter. Is that correct? Oh, he can't hear me. Was the first fight with Sean Porter that Terrence was on the Snack program?
That is correct.
Yeah, so we kind of knew that, but Victor never stated that. And then I said, what was he trying to address by coming over there? And I was talking about, were you coming over there because, as I said, was it because your muscle mass? Was it about the being anemic? Was it about, having a vitamin D deficiency? But I didn't ask it like that. But I was looking for him to answer that, and he didn't.
Right. Well, something physically had to occur, because these are the words of Victor Conte after he got finished talking to Crawford, after Crawford called him back, after he talked to Demetrius Andre. This is what he said. And then when he called you back, Victor, come on, keep on telling, like you've been doing. What'd he do?
All right, so the first step, as we've always talked about, is let's get your blood testing. Because if all I am is...
Let's get your blood tested. Don't sound like no sponsorship to me.
Yeah, I ain't with the sponsorship. I don't know. I don't even see.
Wasn't Floyd Mayweather sponsored by Reebok? I don't think he had to get no blood up to get that. OnlyFans. Don't they sponsor Boots? And Devin Haney? Didn't know they had to give up no blood for that. What about Nike? Do Nike ask for your blood? Sound like Terrence Crawford didn't call for no sponsorship deal. His representation probably did. And Victor Conte said, no. That's right. I'm going to ask the question real quick before I turn it over to you, D-Town. We're not done. Is Victor Conte an advocate or an avenue? That's the question I always wanted to know.
I love that. I love how you put that together. Was he an advocate or
let me spotlight something else.
Boxing on that one.
Yeah.
Let me spotlight something else too, Marty, because I found it funny that I believe, didn't you ask him multiple times if he would work with Errol Spence?
Yes.
And he kept on, he just kept on tap dancing around that. I really want to know, like, what was the reason why he wouldn't work with Errol Spence? Like, he had a lot of compliments and all of that good business, but it just seemed like he was not open to the idea of working with Spence for some reason.
Well, that's
as he was with everybody else.
Yeah, that's because his words, not mine. He said that Errol Spence, he don't think Errol Spence would ever work with him. And the real reason is because Errol Spence, to me, don't need him. Terrence Crawford does to beat Errol Spence, he does. But
Right.
Errol Spence don't need him.
Errol Spence needed him badly. Because if Errol Spence had been working with Victor Conte all along, or at least for his last 3 fights, if Errol Spence had been working with Victor Conte all along, all of the little small, tiny little injuries that Earl wasn't getting healed properly because of his bad habits may have been addressed.
Injuries? What injuries? The car accident?
The car accident, him not training like he's supposed to.
Crawford wasn't in the car accident, was he?
Huh? No, I'm saying Errol Spence would have had been able.
No, I know, but you said with Victor, so I'm just trying to be clear. So Terrence Crawford wasn't in the car accident.
No.
Devin Haney wasn't in the car accident.
No.
Caleb Plant wasn't in the car accident.
But Errol Spence was, so Errol Spence needed.
No, I'm trying to understand something. Neither of these people that were on the snack program were in any car accidents that we know of.
Correct.
They never sustained any severe injuries that we know of.
Correct. Keep going.
Never had any muscle problems that we know of.
Correct.
Had no bone or ligament issues that we know of.
Come on. You get ready to walk into something now.
Why do Victor Conte have an orthopedic surgeon on staff that injects fighters with needles again?
He does.
That's what he told us. I'll play it back if you don't believe.
Wait. Well, who did he inject?
He didn't say that. He just said he has an orthopedic surgeon on staff at SNAP who comes over to the gym and inject the fighters. So none of them had no injuries, tendon problems, bone problems, muscle problems.
You can't save them. You can't save them, man.
Wait. Orthopedic surgeons is something that I have.
All right, hold on. I can't hear you.
You a snack athlete.
I said orthopedic surgeon because, I've had two spine surgeries. Orthopedic surgeons, unless they are operating on you, don't come and just give you injections, period.
Exactly.
What you mean by that?
Unless you're getting surgery, or orthopedic surgeon doesn't come to a gym and give you injections. That's not what an orthopedic surgeon does.
So
that's
why does Victor
on that on what he said? That
I agree with you.
He's telling the truth.
I agree with you. They don't do that, but why he say that's what his orthopedic
That's
surgeon
why
does?
I'm saying you should have pressed him on that because I don't think that's true. He might got somebody who coming with a needle and injecting somebody, but it's not an orthopedic surgeon who's doing that.
I got a question. Does
that's what he said though?
The snack sell?
I'm saying you should have pressed him on that too. I just thought about that.
I think I could figure out a reason why he might have. Does snack sell like medical equipment?
Not that I know of.
No, he don't sell medical equipment.
No.
Like back braces, knee braces, stuff like that?
No, not at
No?
all.
Sell that stuff.
That was a good
Okay.
try, though.
Just
Good
I'm just
try.
saying. I mean, because if you own a DME business, you can
No,
you could
he
actually
don't
hire
sell-
like
all he sells
Right.
is the vitamin supplements and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
going back to the orthopedic surgeon,
Yeah.
that you should have stepped to him hard.
Well, I
there.
didn't want to step on it because the thing is, how can I say this? I dropped out of college. I want to use my word, big words.
Stop that.
Yeah.
Stop it. Stop
Medically qualified. Victor Conte's not medically qualified, but your guy, Terrence Crawford, is getting his blood drawn from this guy, Mr. Greg. You cool with that?
Am I cool with him getting his blood drawn? No.
He ain't medically qualified.
But you know what I am happy about, though? Even though he might not be medically qualified,
He's interpreting blood and giving referrals out,
but
Mr.
you know,
Greg.
but you know what I believe? You know what I believe? First, I've always said that you can't trust Victor Conte because I don't trust him and I don't believe he was telling the truth, especially with the orthopedic surgeon.
That's what he said.
There may have been a nurse, LPN or LP, could have drawn blood. That's very easy to get. Victor may have very well had somebody doing that and saying, I have it done or I had it done.
He said the doctor's name and even said that the doctor worked with the San Francisco 49ers, bro.
Did he say the doctor? Oh, if the doctor was drawing the blood,
He's with sports medicine.
He
if the
said
doctor was drawing the
injection.
blood, if the
He's
doctor
probably
was
with
drawing
sports
the blood,
medicine.
Okay.
Let me connect another dot because he said Errol Spence did what you said. Errol Spence wouldn't want to work with him, right? Or at least that's what Victor Conte said. Errol Spence would not want to work
That's
with
what
him.
Spence said too.
Right. It makes perfect sense because I believe on the Jason Whitlock interview, he also said that the MLB, the track athletes, and all of those people avoid him like the plague.
That's what he
He's
said.
He's banned.
Yeah, right.
Ain't no avoiding.
All right. So I think that most boxers who's trying to avoid Victor or who have the good common sense to avoid Victor are avoiding him for the same very reason, because they know it would be an asterisk by their entire reputation. And y'all know damn well that if he hired Victor Conte, if Errol Spence hired Victor Conte, y'all would have sit here. You would be manager Marty, Mr. Greg. You and Darth Crawford would have teamed up, had your own podcast, and y'all would have been airing this man out.
I'm not a hypocrite like the Spence fanboys. I'm not. I'm not a hypocrite.
I believe that Earl's people kept Earl, although Earl could have made the decision on his own, but I believe Earl's people and everybody around him, especially Al Heyman.
That's not true. Caleb Plant with Al Heyman.
Let me finish. We ain't talking about Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant was not the star over at PBC. Earl Spence was. So, and still to some degree is, although they do got Canelo hanging around. They would have not let Earl mess with Victor Conte if they could have prevented it. And I think they were instrumental in having that done as well. That's how because Earl listens to Al Heyman intensely. Even when Bud came and had the hedge fund deal, he still, I like the 25 million, but you still got to talk to my man. So I think that thinking that Earl has, I think he completely trusts the brain trust that's around Al Heyman. I think they have done a lot for Earl Spence, and he listens to them. The problem that Earl Spence had is he got wealthy, he got rich, like a lot of fighters do when they start getting those $1 billion paydays, and he started having fun. That was his mistake. However, the decision not to mess with Victor Conte, if it even was something he had to consider, I wholeheartedly believe that Al Heyman's advice would have been, no, don't do that. And I think Earl would have listened and not done that. That's what I think.
That's a cool story, bro.
He take your blood, but he take that blood though. He wants your blood.
He want to be a vampire.
Because here's the thing, Greg. You brought the snack products online, correct?
Yes, I did.
Once again, I asked you this before. I ask you again. On the website, it never stated that you had to personally ship your blood to Victor Conte's snack lab in order for him to approve you of taking his supplements online, correct?
That would be correct, and you couldn't do it anyway.
You couldn't do it, right? So he's taking blood from athletes, and all they're doing is using the same products that you're doing. That's what they say. So what we need blood for again?
I think you need to see where your problems are, because I had to. I took blood, but I did it at Kaiser before I bought.
You took blood for Victor Conte?
No. I did my blood test before I ordered the snack program, so I can find out what my blood test would show, so I could see if I had issues, and that's where I decided what I was going to buy in terms of what I ordered.
So you got your blood work done by your primary physician.
I went right to your nurse at Kaiser. They pull it up. You get your results on a portal.
Good point, Mr. Greg. Good point, Mr. Greg.
You get and then you can see, and it'll break everything down, and you can see where you might have some issues at. So I said, okay, I see this, I see that. Now I can do my order, because I knew what kind of exercise with my body that I was doing. I wanted the shadow box again. I wanted to be able to move around, wanted to do a whole bunch of twists and turns. So I also had to incorporate certain types of exercise to accommodate myself. But if I'm going to buy something, like I said, if they went over to Victor, if Victor was taking the blood himself, everybody should have left.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But Mr. Greg, you went to the nurses at Kaiser.
Yes.
People who are medically qualified, certified, trained, and you had no reservations of giving your blood up.
Absolutely. No reservations.
Well, it sounds like Terrence Crawford, Devin Haney, Caleb Plant, and the rest of them, they didn't have any either.
But that's what I'm just
saying. Hold up. You suggesting that it's illegal?
Talking about wait, what'd you say?
I was saying, if Victor was taking the blood himself, had the needle, put the needle in your arm to draw the blood out, everybody should have left. I believe Victor had a
Victor Conte knows how to use needles. Remember in 2000?
I don't care. But taking the blood, Victor should have had somebody there to take the blood. If he did not, and we don't know, but if he didn't have it, if he was taking it himself, and he ain't a nurse, he ain't an LP, he ain't an LPN, if he was drawing your blood, I would have left. I would have never even let him take blood from me if he was doing it.
Right, but he's interpreting your blood and giving you special recommendations and referrals.
But what Mr. Greg's trying to say, he's not the one drawing it.
I don't think he's the one doing it, but if you know how to read a blood test, now I have learned how to read it. I wasn't trained to do it, but I know how to read a blood test now. So Victor could read a blood test, but if he was taking your blood, if the chemists were now then breaking it down to platelets and so forth and so on, okay. But if he was taking it, the day you come to get in the snack program, and Victor pull out a needle out his bag, out his pocket, out his shirt, and get ready to put a needle in me, sorry, we ain't got no deal. So what I'm saying is, I think because Victor has lied or interpreted or exaggerated or stretched the truth in so many different things, this time I am saying Victor has lied. So if he says something about it, I know I said it this time. But if Victor did that, my issue then becomes nobody should be over there. If you got somebody who's taking the blood himself, who's not qualified. So either Victor did it and they said, okay, we'll still let him do it, or Victor lied to you again about him taking the blood.
He never told me that he never told me himself that he injects the fighters and draw their blood. To me, it don't make a difference. The fact that you go over there and willfully give up your blood to him, of all people. See, it's not about if he's not physically. He has access to your insides. And you heard him say it's not even a working relationship unless he gets your blood. That's his words. That's what he said.
Great. It's going to be your job because I've been trying to help you to get one of these athletes, one of the boxers who's currently in the snack program to come on this program.
They're scared to come on this program.
So what? Tell them to man up or woman up and come on over here because you got fans over here. You got a fan like me who keep it 100 across the board.
I'll tell you what, Victor Conte will tell us more about what they're doing way before any fighter will ever do that. So if there's something actually wrong or illegal or whatever y'all want to say.
Oh, I'm not talking about the illegal stuff.
If anything is going wrong over on the snack program, I'm publicly saying this. The fighters, hear me and hear me good. I know the mind of fighters.
Mm-hmm.
They will never tell. Understand that.
Mm-hmm.
They will never
things
tell.
Are going well. That's what I'm saying. If things are going well.
Even if it's not. Listen, even if it's not.
You don't think they will come and tell you things is going well? Here's what we're doing?
Absolutely not.
Wow.
They fear this platform now. They ain't nobody gonna come over here after what Victor Conte done did and then threw everybody under the bus and rolled over.
You done chumped everybody over there in boxing now. They scared to come over you.
I understand the mind of the fighters.
I know what you're saying. I'm just
Victor Conte himself.
Mm-hmm.
He has answered all of the questions that I asked him.
Yeah.
And he made other people want to ask even more People are more suspicious after me talking to him for 5 hours than they were way before he got here.
Yeah.
I see I see Marty's footage from that interview chopped up all over the place right now. It's got people making documentaries right now off of the interview that was conducted by this man. And I myself would not know the depth. I myself would not know the depth of Victor Conte's background had I not followed him up here. You know what I'm saying? So
how old are you, Sin?
Like, I'm 36. I'll be 37 in 2 weeks, as a matter of fact, on April 13th.
Yeah, you brand new. I get it down. When you said that you wouldn't have done.
I mean, I heard of the Balco scandal, and I know about A-Rod and Barry Bonds and all that good stuff. I just never say it again.
I think he was about 19 when that happened.
I was fresh into I probably just got my first not my first coaching experience, but I think I just started getting into MMA gyms and boxing gyms and start moving around the area. So I was kind of, especially at that age, I was all about what I could do naturally. I would never think to even associate myself with anybody on, that had the type of background that Victor Conte had, and I didn't know it was part of me.
You was in track?
Oh no, but MMA and boxing.
Oh, okay, so you've been out here fighting.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, I get it in. I'm saying coaching and all that.
I didn't know that. I thought you. I for some reason I thought you either played basketball or had been in track. That's why I asked that. But I know
not at all.
Was in track.
The thing about it is, Ironheart, is Victor Conte's not medically qualified to interpret no one's blood, to store anyone's blood, to give anyone any medical recommendation or any special recommendation, his words, not mine, on how they should move forward in their diets. And he is not even a dietitian, nor is he a certified
nutritionist. Right.
He's none of the above at all.
Before we go too far into that, did I already miss what y'all opinions on Canelo pricing himself out for the Benavidez fight and all that?
We can't even get there because
we was having a love fest, and Marty said, "Wait a minute, I can't be having no love fest with no Crawford fan."
It was too much kissing and hugging up here.
He said it was too much kissing and hugging.
Everybody on snack today. Everybody on snack.
Two Cents Boxing, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I had to take a phone call.
Did you hear what was going on about Mr. Greg? I asked him about him buying snack products. He said, yes. We know that Victor Conte was here. I replayed that you wasn't here. I replayed Victor Conte saying what happened in the phone call between him and Crawford. Crawford said, I want in. He also let him take his blood after a brief conversation. Victor Conte said he had a brief conversation a brief conversation with Bud, and next thing you know, the first thing he did was get his blood. My deal is, and blood, you can basically see somebody the inside of their whole life, body wise, physically. You know what I mean? And it's hard for a man to meet a woman and within 5 minutes convince her to go in the bed with him. But here it is. Fighters is giving up blood after a brief conversation. Athletes too, at that. It just makes me. I don't know. It just makes me think about what is this really about? You know what I mean?
Yep. You know what it is, Manager Marty. We already decoded and broke it down.
But Mr. Greg, Mr. Greg said now he knows how to interpret blood testing results all of a sudden.
You Googled it?
No, all I have to do is go into my portal of Kaiser after I've given them my blood. Then I go and they'll break down everything about my blood. I've learned how to read it. So I can see if I got a vitamin D deficiency. I can see what my platelets are. I mean, it's about 13 to 18, about 18 different things that they break down in your blood. And so I've learned where I should be at, because it'll show you where you should be, what your level, what's normal, what's low, what's, things like that. So I've learned how to do that, but I didn't know until I started going on my portal, taking more responsibility, I guess, and learning more, as opposed to just keep asking doctors about A, B, C, D, and E. When they already done did the test, they done showed you the results. Now just learn how to read them. I mean, I'm that kind of person. I'm going to learn how to do whatever it is that needs to learn so I can be better prepared. So it's
but
easy.
Do you know how to interpret those results?
Yes.
Yeah, you can read them.
Yeah, I'm saying you're going to understand how to interpret them, because it's going to be there. Not just, oh, it's like that. Oh, that's that. No, it'll tell you what I should be looking at, where I should be at, and why I'm not where I should be. What am I lacking? Things of that nature. You can learn to interpret it. You don't. To me, I'm not trying to be a doctor.
But you're not interpreting it. It's telling you it's telling you. You're not looking at the numbers and being like, oh, my vitamin D low.
But I have to understand what it is that I'm reading in order to interpret what they're telling me. I have to learn that. And I'm saying it's easy to do that. I'm not saying I'm a doctor and I can tell you everything there is about plasma and things of that nature, but I can't interpret a blood test.
So you would let Victor Conte do that for you?
Would I let Victor Conte do it for me? See, you thought you was gonna walk me into that one.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You know, if you ain't had the time to read it, if you ain't had the time to read your own blood, you gonna trust Victor Conte with it?
I just told you, if I'm going anywhere and have to get in any kind of program, even when you go for some certain kinds of jobs, and they say you got to take a drug testing and things like that, they not doing it. They're sending you to a medical professional, a clinic, to do it. You see what I'm saying? So
I just went through that yesterday, actually, and I mean, I can't say I'm the cleanest whistle, but I know how to circumvent that drug testing to get me a good job. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
You got the pot calling the kettle black over here. You over there circumvent drug tests, but you accusing.
Hey,
oh,
I'm just saying. I know how to. I just know how to. I know.
Hold on.
Hold up. How are we gonna criticize somebody for drug cheat, but they're over there drug cheating?
Darth Crawford. How can you criticize Ironheart for saying that he circumvent testing to get employment when you didn't have a problem with Victor Conte saying?
I don't. I got a problem with him. I got a problem with him being a hypocrite.
Hold on, let me finish, sir. That he knows how to circumvent testing for boxers to basically cheat.
It's different when you're circumventing for enhancement.
Hold on. Circumventing, man. I want to hear it, man.
I'm circumventing for a better opportunity. I'm black in America. I am a black man, as they call it in America. I have to circumvent for a better opportunity.
You're taking a clean job applicant's job.
Oh,
No, you're
I
not.
mean,
No,
not really, not really.
I can
Nah,
play
nah,
that
not
if
at
I
all.
want with you.
There's
I'm better
no rules
qualified.
about
One
circumventing
mic,
it. If
one
you
mic.
I can
if you
play
don't
that. I
test
can play. I can
positive,
play
you
that
don't test
angle with you.
positive. There's no
I can
rules
play
for
that
I'm trying to hear
angle,
that crap.
but I
Hold on,
won't do that.
one
employment
mic.
test.
Go ahead, 2 Cent.
my man Ironheart was just playing. He was just kidding. He didn't do
Oh,
that for no
Okay.
job. He didn't do it.
hold on for a minute. 2 Cent, what were you saying?
I was saying there's no rules for circumventing the employment test, and
What?
circumventing the
It is.
test is
The rain?
circumventing the test for enhancement in a competition is not comparable. It's completely different.
Hold on,
Not
hold on, hold
comparable.
on. So
They
if
say,
I'm hiring
hey, to be
somebody
fair,
and I'm
to
telling you,
my
you got to pass a
defense,
drug test, and you circumvented, aren't you breaking my rule?
no, not at all. To my
Where's that
defense,
rule at?
hold on. To my
Where's my
defense,
rule? The fact that I'm telling you go take a drug test, you have to pass a drug test in order for me to hire you.
it says on the app, it says on the very application for the company that that I'm working for, that I'm currently employed by now, because I did that. So salute to me. But
Congratulations.
I appreciate you, sir. There can't nobody hold me back from a good opportunity. But
Congratulations.
so
Circumventing.
it says it does not. It says do you have? Or pardon me, in the requirements, it says you must have the ability to pass a drug screening. Not it ain't say you got to be clean. It just says if you're dirty.
And can I say something
All
else?
right, see if that holds up. See if that holds up if they actually fire you. But
All right,
I
hold
don't
on.
want them to do
I
that.
want
Oh
you
no,
to
I ain't got nothing to worry about. Nah, you sound like you about to
I
snitch.
don't.
But
No, I don't.
listen.
it's all good.
Bro, I don't know even a hole in the wall. I'm like, yeah. Let me look, Sir Ironheart. Where does he work at?
Okay,
That's not even your real name.
Dar. Let's keep this.
Not yet.
Hold on. Dar, listen, Ironheart is not a professional boxer. So if he chooses to do that, that's his business. What I'm trying to get at is this. What I'm trying to get at is the fact that you don't have a problem with Victor Conte saying that he knows how to circumvent testing. There's undetectable drugs and PEDs that's in sport today. There is no test for it, but you're trying to criticize a guy in his personal life. That's the part that I'm saying with you, Dark Crawford. You don't have a problem, and you're only saying that because Crawford is the fighter that you like, and he's with Victor Conte. You don't have a problem with him being over there with Victor Conte, right?
Can I answer? So I don't have a problem with Victor Conte said, and I don't have a problem with Sir Ironheart or anybody who tries to
No. Do you have a
circumvent.
problem with Terrence Crawford being with Victor Conte?
I mean, if you let me finish, I could just, because you're
It's
trying to
just a
paint me in
yes
a
or
corner
no. We don't
where
have
I
to go around.
you're making it seem like I got a problem with him
No.
circumventing the
It's
drug
okay.
test. I
I'm just
don't.
asking you now. Do you have a forget that? Do you have a problem with Terrence Crawford being in association with Victor Conte?
No, I don't.
Why not?
Why should I? I don't have a
No,
problem.
I
And
asked you the
I don't have a
question. Now you
problem
want to
because
ask
this
me
is
one.
personal
Why?
business.
I'm just asking you. Why don't you have a problem with him being associated on his
Because
program?
that's his personal business. I don't have a problem with anybody's personal business.
Well, it's not personal if it's affecting other people. So I'm asking.
Is it affecting other people?
Oh yes. Did
How?
you
It's a
see
life
what
or
he?
death sport. It's a
No,
Did
I'm
life
you
or
saying
death
see?
how,
sport.
give me proof that what Crawford's association with Victor Conte is affecting other people.
I'll give you one. Have you ever seen Terrence Crawford knock anybody out with one punch
Yes, I have in his earlier
in
fights.
the welterweight division? You seen that?
No.
Huh?
No. Do you have proof that the reason he knocked him out was because he was on snack?
Absolutely.
No, you don't.
You never seen him do it before.
It doesn't matter. There's a lot of stuff that you've seen in boxing that happened.
Huh?
There's a lot of stuff that's happened in boxing that didn't happen to prior fights and so on
All
and
right.
so
So
forth.
what fight did you see him do it in?
That's
David
probably one of his
Benavidez.
earlier fights, like in the lower
Benavidez.
weight division, 135.
No, yeah, but before, just give me a name. We're gonna pull it up.
Can't remember. I can't. It was obviously somebody with no name.
At 135.
Yeah, or maybe
Knocked
even
him
earlier.
out cold. Hold up.
Yep.
Cold. One punch.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen that.
I believe I did.
All right.
You believe you did? Come on,
Yeah.
Crawford.
Which
I'm
one
back.
is it, bro?
I can't remember vividly. You know what I'm saying? What fight it was? But but okay. Okay. For the sake of arguments, no, I never seen him knocking anybody out cold.
Okay, great. You saw him do that against David Evanesian, correct?
Correct.
Okay. If I told you I was suspicious, if I said I'm suspicious, he might be on the juice for knocking out David Evanesian, am I right or wrong for that?
You're neither right nor wrong because it's your opinion. You don't have any proof, so there's no way for me to determine whether you're right or wrong.
I see. I understand. So if Victor Conte says that Manny Pacquiao juiced his entire career on illegal substances, his entire career, and the guy he was associated with most of his career was Alex Ariza, and he also was juicing Manny Pacquiao. Is Victor Conte wrong for that?
He's neither right or wrong, just like I said, because Victor Conte doesn't have any proof that Manny Pacquiao was actually juicing. It's his opinion. He has a strong opinion on it, as with a lot of people have a strong opinion. That is not a fact.
All right. So in the court of law, would Victor Conte be wrong for that?
In the court of law, he would have to prove it.
Prove what?
Without a reasonable doubt.
Prove what? That's what I'm trying to ask you.
That Manny Pacquiao was juicing.
So would he be wrong in the court of law?
There's no such thing as being wrong in the court of law. In the court of law, you got to prove something. If you want to prove, I'm kind of lost on that. Yeah.
Okay. Victor Conte, he accused Manny Pacquiao of using steroids. He accused Alex Ariza of being the supplier of those steroids. I asked you, was Victor Conte wrong for that? You claim he's neither right nor wrong. Cool. In the court of law, would Victor Conte be wrong for that?
Are you asking me could he be sued for defamation? I'm confused.
Would he be wrong in the court of law for the same statements that he made about Alex Ariza and and Manny Pacquiao?
There's no such thing as being wrong in the court of law. I'm not catching you. What you're trying to say?
Okay.
You gotta
hold on.
If you choose to bring a case against Manny Pacquiao,
I got you. In the court of law, would Victor Conte be most likely to win or lose a defamation case for saying those same words that he said in that interview?
Would Victor Conte win a defamation case, or would Manny Pacquiao win a defamation case against Victor Conte?
Hold on. Would Victor Conte be more likely or less likely to win a defamation of character case against Manny Pacquiao and Alex Ariza for saying the things that he said in an interview?
But Manny Pacquiao is the one being defamed, so how can Victor Conte win?
So
I'm sorry, I'm just like genuinely confused.
Out of college. Help me understand. If he wouldn't win, what are you saying? What's the other alternative?
Victor Conte cannot win a case.
Can you hear me?
Victor Conte cannot win a case of defamation against Manny Pacquiao because he's the one defaming Manny Pacquiao.
So what's the other alternative?
What's the other alternative? He would lose?
No, you tell me. Don't ask. I'm asking you.
I mean, if Manny Pacquiao was to bring a case against him, he probably has a good case, yes. Manny Pacquiao would have a good case of winning.
So it's more like, I don't want to talk for you. I just want to make sure we understand. So Victor Conte would be more likely to lose that case.
Yeah, I guess you could put it that way.
I'm just asking a question. Okay, so Victor
that was hard to get out, boy.
Yeah, man, my God. Whoa,
that was hard.
I'm a college dropout.
God damn.
I mean,
the truth is just hard. The truth is so hard to just accept.
But Victor Conte can't bring a defamation case against Pacquiao.
You know
that's not what he said. That's not what he was saying.
Am I bugging for for not understanding?
You was playing spin doctor. You was playing spin doctor so hard. You didn't try to confuse everybody in the damn room. You know what that man was asking? You know what he was asking?
Honestly, I didn't know. I was lost because he's saying would Victor Conte win a case against Manny?
Yes.
That's the line of questioning.
Yes. Would he win or lose? You said he would lose.
How? But there's no way he could bring Victor Conte can't bring a case against Manny Pacquiao
I
for
didn't say who would,
defamation.
bruh. If somebody bring a case against
My head
you
started hurt already.
and you are the defendant and they lose their case, the defendant wins. If the defendant loses their case, the
Well,
defendant loses. I mean,
I
I want
digress, man. This is really not going on.
let me ask another question in conjunction to that. Based on Victor's background, do you think he has a basis to make an educated observation on, or a credible observation on who's taking PEDs and who isn't? Based on his background, would it be, even if it's just an assumption and there is no proof, is he, you know what I'm saying, to make the observation, is there a high chance that it could be credible?
Yeah, he's probably more qualified than most people because he knows about the stuff. I guess
He knows about the stuff.
Yeah, that's
I
not a
agree
mystery.
with you.
As long as you keep him out of court.
Yeah, he
Because
knows
he was
about
in
the
court.
stuff. What stuff are you referring to?
Because no, I said as long as you keep him out of court.
No, that's for the guy up there, Mr. Greg.
Oh,
Him
okay.
up top. Yeah. When
Well,
you say
we
he
already know
knows
stuff.
about the stuff,
We
what
already know
stuff?
we know what stuff he's talking about, but I
No,
believe
I want
I believe every
I don't
man
want
deserves a
this
second
bad.
chance.
Huh?
Get the hell out of here.
No,
Don't.
tell me, I can't hear him. What was that?
I said I believe
I'm sorry.
I believe everybody deserves a second chance, man.
Oh, me
You
too.
prove us
Me
wrong the
too.
second time,
But
then
we're not
it's
talking
over.
about hugs and handshakes and second chances. I'm asking you what you said it. So I want clarity for the audience. What stuff are you referring to?
PDs. What else are we talking about?
PEDs.
Yeah.
But that didn't stop your man from going over there.
I mean, again, I hate to bring up all these other fighters, but so it didn't stop all
No,
the other fighters
I'm
from over there.
addressing them,
But
but
we're
you're
stuck
not
on
a
one
fan
fighter.
of them. You
Why are
got
we
the
just stuck
word
on one
Crawford.
fighter?
Hold up. You
Why?
got the name Crawford in your name on this panel. So I'm
Yes,
not talking about no other
Crawford
fighters. I got
joined
to deal with the
Snack.
one you
Yes, we
got
know that.
in your name, huh?
Yes, we know Crawford joined Snack along with a bunch of other top athletes
I know,
in
but you
boxing.
got Crawford in your name on the
I
panel.
know, that's my guy.
I know, so that's why I'm asking you these questions. If you got a guy, you said that he's more qualified because he knows about the stuff. Then what did Crawford go over there with a guy that knows the stuff and knows his history and he followed him and he didn't have to sell him on anything? That's
He
what
was
Crawford said.
20 years removed from that stain.
From what?
The stain of the Balco case.
No,
Same
he
reason.
wasn't.
I mean, check this out, right? One of my favorite fighters, what I'm saying, coming up, like the mid like 2010, like 2008, 2009, with No Need to Donaire.
Yeah, I know, but I'm
The
talking
Filipino
about
Flash.
Crawford. Why
I
are we going
never
over?
criticized him one time once I heard he was dealing with Victor Conte. Because
what
I
I'm trying to
believe in
understand,
people. I believe people can redeem themselves.
I do too. I'm a
All right,
redeemer
then.
myself. I'm a redeemer myself, Darth. But what I'm trying to
So
get
am
you to,
I. That's why I believe in it
but you said
wholeheartedly.
20 years. 20 years what?
Removed from the stain on his, whatever you want to call it, on his career record or.
No, he's not removed 20 years.
Yes, it is. Was it 20? Well, almost 20. When was the Balco case?
No, several athletes tested positive for banned substances on his program.
But okay. You say, why was they on his program? Are you saying that these fighters got those PDs from his program?
No, stop.
I know that's
Let's
not
go
what you're
back for
saying,
a
but
second. I want you to acknowledge first that there were athletes that tested positive for banned substances on the snack program after Victor got out of jail. Is that a true statement or a false statement?
that is a true statement that Victor cleared up. He said they did not test. They did not test while they were in the program per se. He mentioned that Berto tested while he tried something else. I don't know where else. And who's the other person? Willie Monroe. He clarified all this on you. Why don't you play that back? Roll the tape on that. His clarification on what happened with those two fighters that you named.
On what?
The two fighters that you mentioned that
I
tested
didn't name
positive for
any.
PDs. Maybe if you could roll the tape, it could clarify everything. What his response was.
Well, first and foremost, Victor Conte is claiming that Andre Berto was not in his program. Correct?
I believe so, but but we can clear this up if you roll the tape. I
No,
mean, I
no,
don't
yeah,
want.
yeah. It's going to take me a while to find it, so I'm trying to clarify.
No, I got you.
Victor Conte said that
Hmm.
Andre Berto was not in his program. He was not a part of SNAP in
I don't know that.
2008.
I don't know if that's what he said for verbatim. And
I'm
obviously, you don't know because you said you got to find it.
He said it right here in my face. I know everything that he said.
Okay,
How do you
okay.
think I know how to pull out what clips to make videos on what he said? I know everything that Victor Conte said to me because I've heard it over and over again. I didn't just go back and listen to one. I got the content. You know it was on here. You know I got.
Okay, I take that back. Maybe you do know.
Yeah, I do. So what I'm telling you is he said that Andre Berto was not on his program, but I can pull up an article from Dan Raphael right now and put it on the screen. And Dan Raphael reported that Victor Conte was hired by Andre Berto and he was actually in the program.
Hmm.
In his training camp was the exact words. Victor Conte didn't say nothing back about Dan Raphael's report because he really was on. You know what is crazy? What about Marlon Byrd? He was on the snack program in 2012 when
Hmm.
Marlon Byrd tested positive for a banned substance.
So you got these three fighters within the span of 20 years since
No, no, no. It's
he
only
got into
two.
boxing or whatever. So how do we know for a fact? Do we know for a fact that what I'm saying they got whatever they got in the snack program?
Huh?
We don't know for a fact that they got their whatever legal substance that was found in a system. They got those substance from Victor Conte or from the SNAP program or from the SNAP facility or whatnot. That's a small sample out of how many fighters he's worked with for how many years. And even if that was to be the case, which I don't know, neither you know that any of these fighters got any of those illegal substance from the SNAP program. You can assume, you can make any assumptions, but we don't know that. Your
Victor
guess is
said
just
himself. Victor said himself. If you analyze one's performance, now we ain't even talking about actually the fact that these men failed the drug test. But he said if you just analyze their performance and you see symptoms of performance enhancement, and you look at the people that they're associated with, then it's safe to say that they're taking XYZ, EPO, anything else of that sort. So we really don't need to, like how much has to line up before we just start making the educated guess ourselves and just seeing that this is what's going on, especially when this person only has a reputation for doing one thing. You said everybody deserves a second chance. Do you realize there's been over 30 athletes across all platforms that have failed, 30 athletes. So how many times is that divisible by 2? If you say they deserve a second chance, how many times is 30 divisible by 2?
Were they with the SNAC program?
Yeah, hold on.
No, it's all right. No, you say 30 athletes. I'm talking about. So we talking about 30 athletes in the SNAC program?
Hold on. I'm only going to give you one for now. Because you said pull it up. We don't know if they was on a SNAC program when they tested positive. Stay right there and don't move. Hold on. If everybody can mute your phone. You see, I got the content. I got it. I got the tapes. Let's hear what Victor Conte said when I directly asked him to his face. Let's hear what he had to say. You said you never had a fighter that tested positive on the SNAC, but you would agree that there's some controversy around the baseball player, Mr. Marlon Byrd. He was under the SNAC program when he tested positive, correct?
Yes, he was.
What the? Hey, Darv, you heard him?
I heard him, but can you play the rest? Can you play the context? Can you play the rest of the clip?
Don't rush me. I'm just asking the question. Did you hear him?
I did.
Hold on 1 second.
We chopping and screwing it now.
No chopping and screwing. Hold on 1 second. You said you never had a fighter that tested positive on the snack, but you would agree that there's some controversy around the baseball player, Mr. Marlon Byrd. He was under the snack program when he tested positive, correct?
Yes, he was.
You heard that again?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Marlon Byrd,
So
baseball player.
Hold on. He was under the snack program when he tested positive for a banned substance.
Can you play the rest of the clip though? Because I'm just interested in what he's
There's nothing
what
else
his
to play.
explanation.
When I asked him, was this guy in the snack program and he tested positive for a banned substance? He said yes. He look. He did this in my face. This is when I knew I had him. He said, yeah, that when I knew I had him, Mr. Grant. Let me take my glasses off for the ladies so they can see me. That's when I knew I had him. When he said,
okay, so you got one baseball player from what? Early 2000s? What do we okay, let's talk about boxing.
Stop. It wasn't early
2000s. You got a baseball player from the early 2000s.
Hold on. That was in stop saying early 2000s because I gotta get you. That was in 2012. Okay? Andre Berto tested positive in 2012. Marlon Byrd tested positive in 2012. This is 7 years after Victor Conte gets out of jail.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, wait a minute. 2018, Willie Monroe tested positive. Let's do the math. 2019, 2020, 2021. Wait a minute. 2021, that's the same year Terrence Crawford went over there to Victor Conte. You mean to tell me 3 years before Terrence Crawford goes over to the program? Just 3. A fighter tests positive for a banned substance?
See, this is getting me. I'm trying to figure out. You guys really concerned about PD usage?
No. I want you to confirm this first, bro. Can you confirm?
Gave me 3 fighters, and none of them it's never been proven that they took any substance from snack. But you got fighters popping left and right. Gerald Big Baby Miller don't pop like 4 or 5 times. He ain't got no association with Conte. Y'all don't talk about him.
I can talk. I did talk about, but Big Baby Miller's name is not in your name on this panel.
It don't matter. So if I change my name to Big Baby Miller, y'all gonna start you start addressing him more.
You wanted to be a target. You wanted this. I'm giving you what you want. You put the man's name in your name. You have no relationship to Crawford. You're not his brother, his cousin, his uncle.
Hold on. You don't know that.
Oh, he might be. He might be. Okay, is he going kind of hard for him?
I asked you a NHA22. I asked you that months ago and you said no. So now, be honest now, are you?
No, I'm not.
All right, great. So 3 years. 3 years before Crawford went over there. Hey, a man tested positive for a banned substance. That wouldn't make you like, whoa, he tested positive 3 years ago in your program? I'm good. I don't need to go over there.
But the way you phrase it, you said he tested positive in your program.
He did.
But that don't mean he got the PDs from the program. He could have got the PDs from somebody else.
Let's just please. We gotta. It's gotta be something else we can talk about.
30 athletes. Because I was capped.
Oh my goodness.
30 athletes from snack.
Hey, Marty, we had this conversation.
Y'all
two had the same conversation almost word for word.
Please,
verbatim.
let's talk about David Benavidez and Canelo because these guys are professional goalpost movers.
But Ironheart, we can't even talk about David Benavidez because he's working with Memo Heredia, and Victor Conte was on this platform and said that he believes that Memo is still cheating.
Was it Memo with him?
That's how you get people like Sir Ironheart. You about to come over here and cat put and defend David Benavidez.
It's Sin Ironheart. Sin Ironheart, not Sir.
I like sincere. You like it, sir.
Well, I appreciate that.
I got 2 super chats, and one of them was kind of a little overdue. Let me give these guys
Get
credit.
those super chats, brother.
I have to do this. And one of them is a member of the channel, my friend, my guy, double salute, Matthew Thomas. Thank you for your contribution and your support, Matt. Matt says, school is open. Just sit back, close your mouth, and listen and learn. Thank you, Matt Thomas, and I believe that was for you, Darth Crawford. But I don't want to assume, you know what I mean? I don't want to assume. But either way, Matt, much love and support. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate you, man. Chef Curry, my guy. Double salute to you, Chef. Thank you for your contribution and your support to the channel. Thank you for your super sticker. I mean, we can go all night with this because, you know, the longer I stay up, it just seems I'm just trying to get my performance enhanced. And if all I got to do is give somebody that not medically inclined to just interpret my blood to do that, why not? You know, why not? You know, I'm about to get back in the ring and compete, man, because all I got to do is give my blood up, and the guy's going to interpret and say, you need to do this, you need to take this, I'm going to ship you some products to your house, and I'm talking about other products than Snap. You heard him say, you heard Victor Conte say that there's other things besides the snack products that he mailed to Terrence Crawford house. Y'all heard him, but I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna leave alone. I'll leave alone. And he said he got an orthopedic surgeon on staff. That way he said, bro. I'm leaving alone.
Even Crawford said. Look, even Crawford said that. What Detail said, he take that stuff with the skull. With the skull on the bottle, glowing in green in the back, at the top of the back of the shelves.
I didn't say that. That wasn't me.
In the back room.
Look,
he took the magic potion.
He took that T-virus.
That wasn't me. Hey, before I let you guys go, let me get your take on this. Shakur Stevenson, we heard him say he offered Frank Martin, I think he said $1 million to fight him. My question was, how is a fighter who's locked into a guaranteed contract with a promoter being able to offer anybody anything? So now that we all agree that that's never happened in boxing and it never will. My thing is the fact that Shakur said that, Shakur's on the sidelines, but Frank Martin is about to get the biggest bag of his career fighting Tank Davis. And David Benavidez is on the undercard of that. What y'all take of Frank Martin fighting Tank Davis? This is the first black guy in a long time. I mean, a long time that we've seen Tank fight. And the reason why I brought that up is because you've never heard this nowhere else on YouTube except for here when I said Terrence Crawford, Tank Davis, Adrian Broner, and Devin Haney, all 4 have something in common besides being world champions. They don't have a long resume of fighting black or African-American fighters, and there's a reason for that business-wise. So now Frank Martin is getting an opportunity to fight Tank Davis. You know, both of them haven't been in the ring in a little minute. Tank has a longer layoff than Frank. What do you think about the fight? I'll start with you, Ironheart, then Greg, then Darth Crawford, NHA2.
All right, now a lot of people tend to say, as far as you know, when I see the fight being covered. First off, I think that it's a competitive fight. I haven't seen Frank against the caliber of fighters that I would consider Tank to be at, but I don't necessarily think, some people say that Tank is scared of black fighters or whatever, and I just think that it's them targeting the Hispanic Latino market is just a classic Floyd Mayweather blueprint. I think that personally the worst thing that Tank could have done was align itself with Floyd Mayweather, and I think that any young talent, young new fresh talent, I think that the worst thing that they could do is align themselves with Floyd Mayweather as a promoter, because he's not going to allow these fresher talents to be bigger than him on any level. And I think that he's personally holding Tank back from fighting the fighters that he would want to fight to avoid the criticisms that we're giving him towards his resume. And to validate that, when Tank first signed with Floyd, Leonard Ellaby was asked repeatedly by a particular reporter. I don't want to say it may have been Ellie Seckback. I know somebody kept asking him, is Tank going to be 50-0? Is he going to be world champion? So on and so forth. And Leonard just kept rebuttaling with Tank is going to be the biggest superstar in boxing. So it never really it never really validated if Tank was going to be fighting credible fighters. In fact, it sounded like they were going to kind of, protect him, shield him, or do whatever they could to kind of minimize his activity. So I think that I also seen an interview where his coach Calvin Ford had said that the Frank Martin fight wasn't happening. It was supposed to be fake news. It seemed like his corner or the promoters did not want Tank to take the fight. So I think that Tank is kind of in a place where he's trying to prove himself and he's trying to just, go out there and show that he has it out for anybody. I think it's going to be a competitive fight. And I think that we can't write Frank Martin off. I don't have a definitive winner. I think that this is, the time for pretty much Frank to show improvement. If he pulls an upset, he has everything to gain and virtually nothing to lose. So, yeah, that's my take on it.
All right, Mr. Greg, what's your take on this fight? Tank Davis versus Frank Martin. What you got? I mean, you don't have to say who wins, who loses, but what's your take on it overall?
A, I like the fight. B, I think what they've done with Tank has been bad and good. That blueprint that Senator Ironheart was speaking about can be good if Tank was fighting some of these guys in between, trying to get into that a Latino market, which is large, it's loyal, and it generates revenue. So I think it's very much about the business. But I think what they did, however, is messed up what I think would have been a round robin that should have already been taking place. Shakur, Devin, Tio, Lomachenko, all of those guys should have been seeing each other earlier. Some of them should have been seeing each other now, because you still got them barking at each other, but ain't nobody fighting. This Shakur opening, offering $1 million to anybody is nonsense, because you don't fund no fights. So shut it up. And I said it before, a lot of these young guys trying to play businessmen by talking about what they offer, what they can do, and they can't do none of that. So it gets in the way of boxing. It gives them something to do, but it's nonsense. And some fans believe it. Oh, he got offered $1 million. He must be scared. Nobody is scared. Everybody's been moved around like pieces on a board, and they're trying to find where I can make the most money the fastest. So that's what they did with Tank. Tank got knockout power. Tank got star power. They want to make sure Tank keeps knocking people out and filling up the seats. So they're going to keep putting him in with those guys he can knock out. But they should have put in between. I mean, they tried it with Ryan, because Ryan don't have the kind of skills, but they should have put in between those fights that make the big money in the Latino market with some of these challenging fighters that elevate you professionally, I would say. Yeah, you can get the money. But I like the fight that they did with Frank. And I think they probably didn't have too much of a choice, because everybody's still moving in position. And Frank hasn't got quite yet to that point where he can start talking foolishness like Devin and Shakur, even though Shakur should be shutting up. But he hasn't gotten to that point where he's talking himself out of a fight and he's on the line talking about, I can offer you, so I offer you that. I like that. I like the fact that Frank has a chance to win, and not just a small chance, a big chance. How long has Tank been out of the ring? What, about a year? Maybe? Because the last fight was with Ryan, right? So Tank's been out of the ring. What has he been doing? I know he couldn't come out of Baltimore because the judge wouldn't let that happen. So what was he doing with his time? Was he just fighting in court trying to get out of Baltimore so he can train, so he can buy the house because he got put in jail for a minute, got let out? What was he doing to prepare himself psychologically and physically for when he does actually fight? And the same thing is true with Frank. Was Frank looking for that opportunity and putting himself so he would be prepared when that opportunity came to get a big bag? What was he doing? So I like to see that. That's what I like to talk about. What were these fighters doing when it's time for that big challenge? It would go more to Frank than it would to Tank. So, but I like the fight. I hope it doesn't fall out. I hope when they had the press conferences, it's enjoyable because you know Tank gonna be talking a little bit, and Frank has learned to. I got to match word for word and punch for punch as well. So that's what I'm looking for, and that's my opinion about the fight. You know, Shakur, I think is doing himself an injustice, and I don't know whose hand. I know it was Andre, and I never remember his name. That manages Shakur that
His
runs
name is
Rap a
Jay
Lot.
Prince.
Yeah, Jay Prince. Yeah, the manages Rap a Lot. So I don't know what they're doing with Shakur because you can have $1 million talent, but if ain't nobody seeing you fight, and the last time y'all remember the last time we saw what the Shakur did, he stunk up the house. And people don't forget, bad news travels fast. Everybody know who saw the fight it was bad. Everybody who's reviewed the fight after the fact, like, yeah, they right, it was bad. So why are they gonna come see Secure? And why are they gonna listen to? Where he gonna get $1 million to offer somebody based on that stink fight that he did? So he has to consider all of that, even in today's world. So the Frank Martin fight, I think, is a good fight, my opinion. I hope Frank show, as Sin said, shows improve, shows he belongs up there with those guys too, because there's a lot of talent there, but they got to fight each other. So that's where I'm in with that.
All right, Doris Crawford, what you got on it? Frank Martin, Tank Davis. Overall, what's your take on it overall, my brother?
Well, first off, let me just start off with the Shakur thing. I think most of or we're kind of like misinterpreted what Shakur said because he did clarify it. He didn't necessarily say he offered Frank Martin $1 million. He said we offered. You got offered 25%. I mean, you got offered. I'm sorry, not 25%. You got offered 1 million. So Frank Martin and I guess the fight was supposed to go to purse bid. They canceled the purse bid. They agreed to cancel. Frank Martin's side agreed to cancel the purse bid. So his team can negotiate directly with Bob Arn. So they did the negotiation. They sent the homeboy Frank Martin, what's being offered to him. Frank offered. He looked at it. He was cool with it. He got offered $1 million. His last pay, you know what I'm saying? The fight before that, his pay was what, 200K, if that. He got paid 5 times more. He got offered 5 times more than he made his last previous fight. Not only for that, but for a title shot, the WBC. We're hopping on, the part Secure said I offered you 25%. Secure, no, you can't offer nobody to me because he signed to Bob Arn. Bob Arn offered that to Frank Martin. Frank Martin turned it down. Now, this is where my belief Frank Martin screwed up because had he not turned that down, he would have got Shakur at his weakest point. I believe my opinion because I wholeheartedly believe that something was not right with Shakur. And he came out and said it, he had a hand injury. Now, he could have caught Shakur on that bad night, beat him, got the WBC strap. Now you position yourself, put yourself in a better position when negotiating with Tank because you're the WBC champ. You got leverage now. But you're fighting Tank now. You're making an extra 200K. That's not much. That's not that much difference. And in most people's eyes, you're gonna get your head knocked off. So you pulled out of the Shakur fight just to get your head knocked off for an extra 200K. Where does that leave you moving forward?
Is there reports out on that? 200. That's the first time I heard that. 200K. Who said that?
Now the reports out there that he's making 1.2 for the Tank fight. Whereas prior, what I'm saying, he was offered 1 million. Now the reason he gave for pulling out the fight is because he wasn't happy with the money. He said he just wanted a little extra, whatever that meant. But he was upset because when he looked at the overall pot, what I'm saying, and what was the pot, and he saw that Shakur was getting, basically like 80% of the of the pot. He was like, hold up, this don't sound right. But at the end of the day, bro, that's not. Correct me if I'm wrong, but is that Bob Aaron's position to make sure a fighter that's not signed to him is getting taken care of to the most? I mean, he is kind of taking care of him because he offered him $1 million 5 times his payday, but he wanted a bigger spend.
Who offered the 200? Who offered the money though? Because I'm hearing that Secure offered the money, but Secure not.
No, Secure can't. I mean, see, that's what I'm saying. That's why I brought up is the misinterpretation. He said we offered. He said you got offered 25%.
So he was talking about
Bob. Yeah, Bob. Top Rank. He was running the show, so they were putting up the money. They offered him $1 million. He agreed to it, but then when he saw what he saw what Shakur was scheduled to make, which was like $3 million or whatnot, he was like, no, hold up, this don't sound right. I should be getting more. But like, it's like, bro, no, you shouldn't get more. First of all, this is not your company as hosting a fight. They're not. This is a Top Rank card now. Because you fought now. If his side didn't agree to to forego the purse bid, then it might have been a different story. It was a whole bunch of fiasco. I mean, at the end of the day, I believe he should have just stuck to that fight because realistically, he could have, he could have beat Shakur on that night. Edwin De Los Santos is a good fighter. But I believe Frank Martin is a much more skilled fighter than Edwin De Los Santos. And I believe catching Shakur on that night in the state that he was in, Frank Martin could have possibly pulled off that upset. And then he would have been in a position to make much more against Tank right now because he would have had the WBC strap. Not only that, but with a win over one of the top fighters in the whole entire sport, let alone the 135-pound division.
Well, don't you think there would have been a rematch clause?
I don't know if I don't think there would. I don't necessarily.
I'm almost certain everybody tried to get a rematch clause, and I'm sure they would have had a rematch clause for Secure. So
if he beats Tank in definitive fashion, it's going to do much more for his career, especially on the second go round. Whether he rematches Tank or anything or anybody else, he will be the man. He will get 10 times what he got for this right now.
I agree.
But he could have beat. I mean, he could have beat Shakur and then been in a better position to negotiate a bigger.
To hell with Shakur.
But I think he would have been tied up in the
hell. What you mean the hell with the Shakur?
It's not offering him nothing. This is the trophy kill right now. This fight is bigger. This is the trophy kill right now. He could have killed 2 birds. He could have came into that Tank negotiation as the spin the block.
Champ. He ain't no spinning the block.
He could spin the block on Shakur and get those.
That ship already sailed. If you think Bob Aaron's actually want to deal with him. After you agreed to all that, and then you just decide you want to bounce.
But if he had took the fight, he would have been tied up in a rematch clause. That's what I'm telling you. He wouldn't have been able to walk away.
That's not necessary because he's a PBC fighter. He's a PBC fighter.
Go to PBC.
Hold on,
with
my fault.
Belt that he won from a Top Rank.
He's a PBC fighter, so I doubt, he's gonna be, tied into it.
Secure, not PBC.
No, he's not.
And he had the belt, right?
Yep.
So if he had beaten Secure, darn well he would have had a rematch clause in that contract.
I don't.
In the same way that I'm almost certain there's a rematch clause for Tank in his contract. They're not just gonna let. Even though they both at PBC, there's still a rematch clause.
And you could be right. And you know what happened the second time around? After he beat Shakur, he holds the card.
But we're talking.
He gonna get the bigger bag.
Look, y'all gonna make money not open up. Y'all gonna make money not open up this platform
again. You can beat him again. You beat him once, you could beat him again.
Well. let's put it this way. That's not what happened. This is the better fight. This is what people's eyes are looking at. Because ain't no, after that nonsense that Shakur did, ain't nobody trying to see him right now unless he goes up against a bigger, better fighter.
That's not
So,
true. In my opinion, it's not true. Every fighter has bad performances.
yeah, I get
Y'all
that.
dismissing them. Y'all dismissing them off of one performance, man. That's like this is the
Sometimes
problem.
that's how it goes.
Come on,
How
OG,
do you feel
man.
about
Come
It's
on,
not fair.
OG. We
I
we
didn't say
can't
it
throw
was.
fighters away,
I
man.
didn't say it was fair, but that's how sometimes it goes.
I understand it, but we
In,
talking about nobody wants to see him.
in today's world, things got to move better and faster, and sometimes it's unfair.
I get
Secure
that.
has been talking
so
and barking
Crawford?
and quitting and resigning and retiring and all that other kind of stuff that he's been doing. That's okay. Do that. You want to keep the
So
thing up.
Crawford, you don't agree? So Crawford, you basically don't agree with the Frank Martin and Tank fight right now. Is that what you're saying?
No. It's a good fight. I mean it's better. I mean I'll take Frank Martin over Isaac Cruz or Rayo any day because those were the other two options I was floating around. So yeah, I take Frank Martin. I'm just pointing out, you know what I'm saying? Because I like Frank. I think he just made a
All
bad
right.
decision by not fighting Shakur on that night because he could have possibly got Shakur that night, and then
But
he would have came into.
he got tanked on the night he's going to get him. That's a bet, and that was a bet. It's a better fight.
I'm just
So
saying there was no point.
give up
There was no point in. There was no point even trying to go into negotiations if you already knew what what I'm saying. What the ramifications going to be. Okay, yeah, I'm probably going to be locked into a rematch clause. So what is the point of him doing that in the first place? Then they just like, yo, you know what? I don't want this. You know
Well,
what?
only he can explain that. All I can say
That's
is
fact.
sometimes you give up one thing or lose something, you get something better. He now has something better. He now has more eyes on him. He's going to have more criticism or praise coming his way, depending on how he fights and if he wins or if it's a controversial win. Who knows? But there's going to be more eyes on this fight. There's going to be more excitement to me about this fight than it would have been about Secure. That's how I see this right now.
That both
So
could be
give
true.
up
I
one
agree.
thing, and and Secure should do whatever he needs to do. But down the line, all of these guys are taking too long to fight each other. The ones who have the names that we've been talking about, and Frank may come in and be one of those names now, depending on how this fight goes with Tank Davis.
Well,
So
all due respect, with Shakur, he's in one of those predicament where you got a lot of fighters that don't want to fight him. And I agree. This last fight, you know what I'm saying, with the hand injury and all or whatever he's had going through, he didn't do himself no favors with that performance. But prior to that, you got to understand, Martin was like the third in line because Pitbull Cruz was his number one mandatory. He said no, no, thank you, I don't want it. And who else? It was I forgot somebody else. They declined. And so WBC had to go down the line, and Frank wasn't even ranked, you know what I'm saying, highly up in the WBC. But he agreed to step in as like the third or fourth option because nobody wanted to get in there with him because he's that guy. I mean, he's as far as like the sweet science, it doesn't get any. It doesn't. You can't find somebody more technical than he is, controlling the distance, punch placement. I mean, he's that guy. So you don't have a lot of people jumping up in there to try to fight him. So at a certain extent, you can't just put the blame on him for not fighting. You know what I'm saying? When a lot of these fighters don't want to get in there and take that chance.
or sometimes most time it's not the fighters. Most time it's the fighters handlers who don't want that chance taken, especially if they don't put a certain amount of investment in that fighter. They want to see their return, and they want to see that the likelihood that they will get their return on investment will come based on who they put their guy in with. So that's where problems always coming from my point of view, at least, where fighters aren't necessarily scared of each other. It's their people who are looking at how much money can I make on my guy before he gets this big fight or before he gets that very challenging fight. How long can I keep him where he can make good money before he gets that challenging fight? They're making moves like that. The fighter done signed a contract, and he's been guaranteed a certain amount of money, or the manager's going to get him a certain amount of fights, or the promoter's going to get him a certain amount of fights. Once you put your name on a dotted line, you do what they're going to tell you to do. You might not like it. You might talk contrary to what you signed, but it's the guys who write the checks who make the decisions. And at some point, you might get big enough where you get a chance to participate in making those decisions. Because the only thing a fighter can do is either accept the fight or not take the fight. Right at this point, Frank Martin is in that position. Secure is really in that position still. So the only guy who really got some say in his fights still is Canelo. So we got to always remember that part too. And we always got to remember when guys be talking about we offered this, who's we? Because Bob Aaron could have just said we offered Frank Martin this kind of money, but he didn't. He said nothing. So you just, you got to, take what's said with a grain of salt. You got to look behind the words of what they say, and you got to look at what actually takes place. And what's actually going to take place is what we're talking about now. Frank get ready to throw down with Tank. People going to watch.
Don't mean to cut you off, but Bob Aaron did come out and state that,
he did?
They did offer him that. Yes, he did.
Okay.
He's like, I'm confused. He's like, we offered a guy, you know what I'm saying? We offered this man, 10 times. No, you didn't say 5 times more than he made his last pay. And his side, TGB, who was negotiating for him, but agreed to everything. And all of a sudden, we got blindsided in the last minute. And then so they had to throw old boy De Los Santos stepped in. De Los Santos stepped in. That actually, De Los Santos was like the 4th person in line.
Okay, well, it happened that way. All we can really say is somebody must have said, listen, don't take this fight. We're going to have Tank for you in a few months. That could have happened. That could have really would have been happening. It
could have happened, but it's like, why burn it?
Never mind Shakur. I don't even know why we still focused on Shakur. It's about Frank and Tank. This is the fight that we supposed to be covering. It's like, how you feel?
I like that fight.
I got Frank. I got Tank knocking his head off in the first row. I mean, Tank.
You said Frank Martin gonna knock Tank out?
Tank knocking his head off into the first row.
Oh,
I was thinking about round 7. About round 7.
Oh, okay. Quick question. I'll let y'all go after this. Canelo Alvarez, he's fighting May 4th. We'll touch on this topic again next week. Because we got the Tim Tszyu Fundora breakdown. I'd love for all of you guys to come back up to give me y'all prediction on that fight next week. Fundora and Tim Tszyu, and then of course Rolly Romero against Pitbull Cruz. But real quick, I think that's going to be the main event of the evening. If you ask me,
I love that fight.
But
can't wait for the press conference for that one.
Oh yeah, they already had a couple press conferences already. Those two guys. Canelo Alvarez, he said he's not scared or ducking Benavidez. Of course, he said Benavidez don't have nothing to bring to the table. He basically said that 150 to 200 million, not 150,000 to 200,000, 150 million to 200 million will get him in the ring to fight Benavidez. And of course, he's fighting Jaime Munguia on May 4th. I'll start with you, Ironheart. What's your take on that? Then Mr. Greg, and then Darth.
Okay.
So starting with you, Ironheart. I mean, 150 to 200 million that he want to get paid for that Benavidez fight. And if not, then guess he don't want to fight Benavidez. He said Benavidez don't have nothing to bring to the table right now for him. What's your take on that?
First and foremost, I think that number, that astronomical number, has fear written all over it. I think that at this point, Canelo is scared to death. That's bigger than that's bigger than the Floyd fight, obviously, where he's been offered. That's the biggest payday. That's probably been, that's like a historical payday. I don't know if any fight's ever been anywhere floating around those numbers for a single fighter. I don't know how PBC or ABC, CBS, any three-letter organization will make any money off of paying Canelo. If they're gonna pay him 150, 200 million, what is going to be left for anybody else? I think that he is just pricing himself out. And I think that he's fearful not only of the Memo Heredia situation, but I think that he's more fearful of the fact that David Benavidez has all the tools to beat him. David Benavidez throws good volume. I think that volume is a key element and ingredient to beating Canelo altogether, because Canelo is known to get tired and gas out against lesser fighters. And he also has a knockout punch, multiple knockout punches, and it might come in a flurry. So I think that David Benavidez has all the tools, and he's a taller, bigger, longer fighter. He has all of the tools to beat Canelo, and I think Canelo is in full acknowledgement of that, regardless of whether he was with Memo Heredia or any other trainer. And I just think that number just spells fear all over it. I don't have any confidence that fight will ever happen. You know, I don't know who would pay him other than the Saudis to make that fight happen. And I think that at the $60 million price, where David Benavidez said that he was already taking $60 million up front and supposed to make more off the back end, the fact that he was willing to take $5 million shows who really has the confidence and who is very sure of themselves that they'll be able to perform and basically take home the victory. And Canelo just ain't showing not an ounce of confidence in the fact that he could take home a win. He just sounds like he wants to get paid for taking that ass whooping. So that's my honest opinion. And and even if it was to happen, I think David Benavidez washes. That's me.
Well, that 200 million sounds like a retirement package that somebody's trying to get. So David Benavidez must bring something to the table if you think you can ask that kind of money and somebody's going to get it. Nobody's doing it. I believe David Benavidez beats Canelo if they ever fight. I think he would have beat Canelo 2 years ago, maybe even 3 years ago. I think Canelo has got to the point where he's getting a bigger head, where he knows he still sees himself as the face of boxing. He knows that time is now coming up. He's sort of fought everybody he could fight just about around his weight class. Jaime Munguia, I'm sorry, Jaime Munguia has not risen to the level where he could get that fight. Because Canelo said Jaime deserves the fight. He doesn't deserve it more than David Benavidez does. Nowhere near that. Nowhere near that. Jaime didn't even fight the top guys, when he had a belt at 154. So how you going to skip those guys that you should have fought, come up to 168 where you haven't really done anything? I thought he was being mismanaged by Golden Boy, to be quite honest. But yet we got Canelo saying he's deserving of the fight. I want 200 million if I'm going to fight David Benavidez. I sort of agree with Sin Ironheart. This is if I'm going to have to fight this monster, I might as well get prepared for retirement, and y'all got to pay me this kind of money for what I think would be a brutal fight in the first place. You're smaller in every way. You got some strength, you got some skills, but you got somebody who you might have to seriously punch out the ring if you want to win. And I don't think he can do that. He couldn't do it with Triple G. And Triple G was a little bit of a shadow of himself, or getting there quickly in those three, and that's at least in that third fight. So I don't think that this nonsense of getting this kind of money is meant to be true. I think it's basically he's trying to test the waters and see who's gonna bite. I don't think the Saudis are going to pay for that. Would you just say CBS, ABC, NBC? I mean, it's not going to be enough money for anybody, because what the undercard gonna look like? Everybody gonna get like 250, you know, and even then, will it be enough money to justify that? You gotta just look at what the pay-per-view number would have to be if you're gonna guarantee him 200 million. Nobody's clamoring for that fight to that degree where they going, what we gonna pay for pay-per-view? $250 for a pay-per-view fight? I'm not doing that. I pay for fights, but I'm not paying 250. And that's what I think would have to be, that kind of number to get even close to paying this man this guarantee fight. So that's a lot of BS there. And I think cooler heads will prevail if they ever get to the point where they, okay, let's stop this nonsense. I can see them guarantee him maybe 40 because he's getting it. I mean, a lot of the fights he was guaranteed 35, but even when he had the first um, contract with the Zone, they realized they were overpaying him too. That's how he was very easily got out of that contract. He's like, wait a minute, we signed for this and we can't pay him this. He sued. They're like, okay, we're sorry, we'll let you go because it made sense to them. It was a business decision. And that's why he's still over there with PBC. First of all, he can't walk away in the first damn place. I don't know what the deal is, what kind of deal they have with PBC, but I know he wasn't walking away to get no. I mean, even if they let him do that, Marty just said what the deal would be if you go ahead and try to take a fight like that. Yeah, I'll either impound that 200 million if it happens, or okay, we'll just go and say, hey, you got to pay me before you pay him. So that's a whole bunch of hype. Maybe it might be used to generate enthusiasm, more enthusiasm for the fight. It really dulls the fight and making people mad because the fight should have already happened. And maybe he's trying to wait till David Benavidez just gets a little bit older because he's not taking a whole bunch of beatings in the ring. Canelo has taken some punishment in the ring. I mean, look at his last couple of fights. You have to train for it, and then he's lost. So my thing is that 200 million is just nonsense. He's being foolish. He's getting a big head. He's not getting it. Jaime has no business getting this fight right now, and we'll see how it plays out. I mean, that's my take on it.
Darth is on you. What you got?
All right, let me start by just saying I believe Canelo has ducked straight up or strategically ducked a lot of fighters, specifically when he was at 154 or 160. Bubu Andrade, Jamal, even Jamel at 154. I'll even throw in Derenchenko. But having said that, that's typical what I call super A side behavior. You know, people like him, Floyd, and Oscar. Now, let's talk about that $150 million, demand, quote unquote. Now we're probably looking at it, okay, this is an astronomical figure. Oh, this is so ridiculous. But I've been following boxing and the shenanigans for quite some time on. Now, I can remember vividly my favorite fighter at the time, still one of my favorite fighters right now, one Money Mayweather, demanding $100 million and all of the pay-per-view revenue in order to fight Pacquiao. But I mean, I know a lot of people. Some of the people that just started following the sport recently, probably don't remember that. But that's an actual thing. Floyd Mayweather offered Manny Pacquiao a $40 million flat fee for a fight that turned out to generate when they did fight. Floyd made upwards 200 million, and Manny Pacquiao ended up making I think like 120 million, something like that. So now early negotiations,
They had offered him $50 million, similar to what supposedly Benavidez' team offered Canelo $60 million. Canelo supposedly turned it down, even though Canelo said he never got it, but we don't know who's capping. But Floyd was offered top rank. There's articles on this. ESPN, Dan Raphael. Floyd was offered $50 million and a 45 to 55 split on the pay-per-view. Floyd said no. Said, I'm the cash king. I work hard to get here. It's all about preservation. I'm not going, not let nobody dictate who and when they can fight. And I'm going to quote, he said, I want the fight, but if the fight don't happen, so be it. These are Floyd Mayweather's words. This is the type of behavior I'm talking about. When I say Super A side, when you feel like you could dictate who you fight, when you fight, at what price you're gonna fight him for. So now we're all up in arms, when Canelo is doing it. And I'm not defending Canelo because I don't think it's right. I don't think it moves the sport in a positive direction.
It's a big difference in that dynamic too. But go ahead. There's not another Floyd Mayweather. There's not another Floyd Mayweather. Floyd was zero. Floyd had a zero. The anomaly, the attraction of seeing somebody lose. The whole attraction of Floyd Mayweather fights was to see him lose. We seen Pacquiao lose. Canelo has lost. And Floyd Mayweather.
What does that have to do with him demanding an astronomical figure in 2010, $100 million? So we're Canelo is that guy now.
No, he's not. Canelo's been running from strict competition.
Who generates more revenue in the sport than Canelo?
Who you think gonna give him $200 million?
Huh?
Who do you think is gonna give Canelo $200 million? Guaranteed.
That's not the point that's not the point I'm making. The point is that people are outraged.
But you got to include that point because Canelo was being foolish thinking that there's somebody who's going to give him $200 million.
Everybody, Mr. Greg, everybody thought Floyd was out of his goddamn mind when he asked for $100 million. What did he end up making? He got that $100 million guarantee. And on top of that, he made, close to another $100 million in the back end. We all thought Floyd was out of his mind. And Floyd, people was labeling the same old argument they're labeling out women.
Actually,
they were saying, Floyd don't want to fight because he's asking for all this. Oh, this is a way of Floyd ducking. I defended Floyd.
Well,
I defended, you know what I'm saying? I was like, but now I look at him like,
I thought that money was possible at that time. I understood what Floyd was doing. I understood.
With inflation?
He was trying to get.
Likewise.
I thought that money was possible. He was trying to give Pacquiao less because Pacquiao had lost. I get that, but lost twice, and Canelo is the one who's saying I should still get more after I've been beaten twice in my career.
You can lose a million times. Oscar De La Hoya had about 4 losses, and he was still the king. He wasn't even ranked none of the the sanctioning bodies. Oscar, and he was still the king. Your losses, if you're the cash cow, you're the cash cow.
Oscar was
now Lloyd prioritizes it,
Oscar was in a different position. Oscar's situation was very different. That's one of the other things you got to consider too. Oscar was, as he used to call him, Oscar was still the golden boy because he was still generating that kind of gold. Canelo's fights have not generated the kind of money that they used to. Oscar continued to generate big paydays on his fights.
I'm gonna say, all due respect, Canelo's generated about 50 million worth of pay-per-view buys in his short career.
Total? You talking about total?
No. Yeah, total.
Yeah.
He just did 700K with Jamel Charlo, whose highest rated viewing on, on cable network was didn't even touch like 600K. Like just total eyes on him. Never is in his highest pay-per-view was a co-event with his brother Jamal that did barely cracked 100K,
But
and he was able to get 700K with him.
Canelo's fights were still less than Oscar De La Hoya pay-per-views.
Some of them are. No, I'm gonna take it. No. I gotta correct you, Greg. I'm sorry.
No, you.
Oscar's pay-per-view. His highest pay-per-view was Floyd Mayweather was 2.4. Canelo done touched 2 million, over 2 million pay-per-views several times. I'm just trying to put this in perspective. Canelo is the cash cow right now.
Say that again.
Canelo's done sold more pay-per-view than Oscar.
I don't
Triple
know.
G won 2.2. Cotto. I mean, we can look at it, but I'm saying I'd say this. He is the cash cow right now. He is the attraction.
That differently than Canelo was. So, but regardless, we now talk about at today's monies. Canelo's asking for $200 million to fight a guy he should have fought. Well, the same way with Oscar, in a sense, with
same way with Floyd too.
Same thing with Floyd and Pacquiao. But it hits differently, and when it hits differently, it's going to be seen differently, and that's where it comes from. We can't. I know we all. I do it. Sometimes we look at things from the past and try to do it in comparison with things happening today, and it doesn't work. This is something that's not working right now in the eyes of the fans. That because
we don't know that though.
It would have happened years in advance. Floyd and Pacquiao would have happened years in advance if Pacquiao wasn't scared of needles. Plain and simple. That's how Pacquiao's mouth.
Pacquiao said more than just needles. I mean, if I'm literally telling you, Floyd declined a fight based on the number wise because he said a number. He's like, this is my number. My number is 100 million. He didn't budge from that, and I applaud him. He didn't budge from that, and you know what? He got that 100 million before. You know what I'm saying? He agreed to that fight. That's a man standing on business, on principle, and you know what I'm saying, who knows what what he's worth, or actually what he think he's worth, and he stands firm on it, and he got it.
Canelo worth $200.
So you think Canelo? Listen, so you think Canelo's worth
you are worth what people are willing to pay. But now I say that to say this, right? Did y'all hear the interview with Samson? Marty played it earlier.
I'm about to have to dip. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to have to dip.
Benavidez' own manager said, yes, Canelo does deserve that. And we're going to try to get that money from him. So
hey, Sin, I know he got a dip. He just said he got a dip.
Yeah. I was trying to hang to the end of the stream, man. You know what I'm saying? I'll be trying, but.
Trying to say, good, have a good weekend before you dipped out.
Yeah, man.
Most def, man.
You be easy,
peace and blessings to all y'all, brother.
All right, you should do the chat.
All good, man.